And if you pour it out, we will be having an intervention, just so you know.
Oh god, I would not waste makers. I would not waste anything. I don't like wasting resources. I don't like throwing stuff out unless I absolutely have to or something.
Resources, is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah, I mean, a
Of
resource is
course.
anything that you can use, you know?
This
Doesn't
is
just
real
have to
life
be alcohol.
Minecraft, man.
That's right.
Real life Minecraft.
Oh, the ad break is done. Welcome back, everybody. As always, I start you off with looking at a butt. So this is, Optics' butt? Optical X is your in-game name.
Yeah, Optics was taken, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Okay. Duckman, please, please let me know if the mic gain seems like it's any better or worse now, because I did put the mic a little bit farther back.
Well, you are speaking, so by definition, it's already worse.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I don't know if you guys heard me or not. This is a cover my replay. That's right, B Cup. But my cat was on my kitchen table, so I had to yell at him to get off and deal with that. This is a subscriber cover my replay ranked battle. Cleveland versus Eden. So they got a Parsifal, which is kind of nice for you. You don't have to worry as much, at least, about the rocket planes.
Yeah, I mean, even with other CVs, my main concern is always spotting rather than, you know, I don't want to eat rockets, obviously, but the spotting is usually what's more of a pain.
You're absolutely right. And a lot of times I suggest when you're in a carrier game to try to get everybody to stick together and not split off into two different directions, because what typically happens is one side gets focused and then completely dies. Look at what's happening already. Your Benson is being left to dry.
Yeah, I felt I'm pretty aggressive here. I felt comfortable with it because I do have the RN smokes. They're fast and I have a lot of them. I can get undercover if I have to.
Mm-hmm. Now, that I would say Hydro is very early. I know it's a 3-minute Hydro, so you probably have times where you might have forgotten to use Hydro, and that's obviously worse.
Well, the problem also is it's a very short range type.
Mm-hmm. Like, generally, I wouldn't start using Hydro until I got in, like, I noticed that the cap was being capped, which is, you know, maybe 10 seconds after you started your Hydro, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, I figured 2 DDs, one of them was going to each cap, so...
Mm-hmm.
I typically just don't want that surprise, and if I have an extra 10 seconds on Hydra, I don't find that's too much of a waste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have just bowed in and then let the Hydro off.
Now, you didn't shoot here. I'm guessing it's because you're worried about the entire enemy team that's coming this way?
Yeah, that was one of them. And also, I'm facing the wrong direction, so here you're going to see me open up in a second, but I wanted to get turned around first so I could dart for cover if I had to.
Alright, good. I like that you slowed down before smoking up. I see a lot of people will just start shooting and then smoke and then, like, you know, expect to dodge all the incoming shells, so...
Oh, don't worry, I think I have one of those in this game too.
Oh, great. Now, you could switch to AP at this point, because I think the CAG is just going to sit south, or... yeah, but... Either type is fine for killing this dude. There we go. Cleveland radar, OP.
Yeah, I think that was a misplay by Cleveland. He saw the DD, got tunnel vision, look where he is now in relation to the cap and the enemy team.
And, yep. Well, yeah. I was actually going to mention that.
It wasn't a situation where I couldn't finish it. I mean, one more of my salvos would have done it.
Yep.
Yep, and then he eats one.
Yep.
And he made the same mistake the other team's Edinburgh did.
Mm-hmm. And he thinks he's helping.
Because their Edinburgh got smacked right off the bat.
Alright, David, cover my replay for the Vlad, no problem.
It's about this point where I'm starting to realize that I'm going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting in this game. Because if you notice where my North Carolina and my Bismarck are going, and my Cleveland just got nuked, so I'm all in my lonesome here by this cap.
And that Benson did not go the correct way around either.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I think the Benson's the least of your concerns right now. Going into the cap, though, I think is a bit of a mistake for you because you've got no exit.
Well, so that was a misplay by me. I was intending on using the Kagero smoke to get some pot shots off on them, but I didn't realize how close it was to running out.
Yeah.
And that's in the buffer.
Seabear, you'd rather be at work than playing this game? Ouch. Although if you were watching my earlier stream, ranked battles, I had a bout of that too, man. Alright, David, we'll do your game next.
I liked it, unlike so many Destroyer players, he's using his torpedo tubes to get his locks rather than his guns.
Sloanf is now following.
Yeah, I don't want to take the PT risk on this one. Sometimes I will flash it on purpose to try to lock them into a turn, or just to screw with them.
Yeah.
But
Slow-in, thank you for
I'm
the
gonna-
follow. Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna call this whole replay torpedo boating in a gunboat.
Yeah, the using the guns to make them turn for better shots for your team and yourself is something that a lot of people do in competitive. That it can work in regular randoms, but it's not nearly as effective because people are very hypersensitive in competitive modes.
Mm-hmm.
They're far more likely to have a knee-jerk reaction that's positive in your case than they probably are in randoms.
Now, in that particular torp salvo there, one thing I might have done is just fired them off at the Edinburgh, figuring the Edin's going to sit in the smoke, and the Massachusetts would probably start turning in and slow down as soon as he detected you. For whatever reason, he decided to just keep going straight, so completely ignore what I just said.
And he sailed right into them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd like to say that was a 200 IQ play, but I mean the only thing I noticed is that Massachusetts was pushing really hard into that cap for some reason, so it looked like he did want to go through, so
Yep.
I took a chance on it.
Yep.
Now I don't know what my North Carolina is doing here, but
He's going to hold him in position.
no, he's not.
It's not even what he said, it's how you said it that made that so funny.
I mean, at this point, I know this opening up here is risky. I'm just trying to save my North Carolina, even though he probably doesn't deserve it.
Well, yeah, deserving or not, in ranked, anything that gets you the win is what matters the most.
I mean, that was just so derogatory deadpan. No, it's not.
Oh my god, he's going broads. We need to break.
Look,
Oh,
at this point, I thought he was going for the ramp, but it gets worse.
yeah.
Oh my god. He was full health.
Bye bye.
Oh, wow.
It's me trying to communicate with Optics' past.
That is unbelievable how quickly he died.
And he's upset. So much for a push on C.
It's like, what push? Look where the Turpitz is. Look where the Bismarck is.
Jesus.
How are you guys surprised at all by this?
We're not.
I mean, honestly, it's not that I'm surprised. It's more that I am just
entertained.
I have no expectations.
I am
and yet I'm
stunningly
constantly disappointed.
entertained. I am stunningly entertained at just how people continue to play so very badly.
Well, so
If you notice the Benson too, he's just been hanging around in the middle of the map like this for I don't know how long.
yep.
Gotta protect that cat from all the ships that aren't over there.
Now, what most likely was going through the North Carolina's mind was he said in chat, I expected a push. I think he was expecting the Bismarck and Tirpitz to not turn around and run away, and he got there and said, crap. But the problem with him is that he made that determination way too late. So
Yeah.
he sat there and said, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Like you said, he realized that there were battleships that were on the south end of his flank, and he said, screw this, and risked a turnout. The problem is he got spanked hard in that risk, and, well, just disappeared.
I think in that case, the correct move for him, like the best of bad options, would have been to just hit the reverse and try to kill that Massachusetts and have at least one less set of guns worried, like focused on you before you turn out. But
Well, sure. But we've
hindsight.
yeah, exactly. We've all done that in battleships. I've done that, you know. I've sailed into a spot, looked at my minimap, and suddenly my support has disappeared, and it's just, well, okay.
Yep, guilty.
You know, it happens. Anyway, okay, so the Monarch just fired, which is great because you can actually stop and smoke if you wanted to. And
Yeah, I do play this a little aggressive as well. I was thinking I might be able to get around that corner without having to smoke, but I had it available if I didn't.
yep.
Yeah, I honestly don't have any like significant issues with Optic's play. I mean, you know, there were some things that you would think were questionable, but then you realize what he's looking at on his own team and what the other team is doing. It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense to me.
A lot of it was it's more aggressive than I would have liked to play this, but seeing
Well, you
what's
had
going on
to.
with my team right now, I realize I have to do something. So
And we often talk about levels of aggression and when is it the right time to be aggressive, when is it, you know, being too aggressive. And this is a great example here.
He's
And you,
DCP'd.
right? And you realized that your smoke was just about to end, so you stopped shooting. It's unfortunate your Bismarck died, but by not shooting, you've managed to, you know, get into the cap. So there's
at this
that.
point, I've just become used to my teammates evaporating.
Frankly, I'm amazed that the Kaga is still alive, because when I saw that Benson threatening the Kaga, I would have expected the Benson to die and the Kaga to die.
I mean, it's unfortunate that you have the points total that you have on their team because you guys, ship-wise, actually have the advantage right now, but I don't think there's going to be enough time for you to use it.
Well,
Especially considering how useless the Benson's been.
the game, that's true, but the game's not over. Your Benson needs to just haul ass to sea. Now, if he does that, we'll see. But, alright, and the carrier's right here. So, if he hauls ass to sea, he might actually run into the carrier and torp it.
He could have been at sea so long ago.
Unfortunately, you can't control your teammates. You can ask them to do things, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Benson might make it if he gets the French camo. There you go. Now, at this point, with 20 points left until you lose, you need to get a kill.
Yeah,
You
he's trying to charge him.
You need a kill, and it's worth sacrificing your hit points to get that kill.
Well, yes
think
and
it's
no.
fine.
So my thought process here is I wasn't going to charge. I was going to get myself in position because I know that Benson's about to stop the points at sea, so they're going to need a cap, and the only one they can take is the one I'm at.
Yep.
So that forces the battleships to come into A.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think by default they're going to head towards A anyway, because that's the closest cap for them.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see B as an option just because they'd have to cross the whole map to get there.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
Maximus _ Eucalyptus is now following.
Maximus, thank you very much for the follow. Are you not entertained?
I know, right?
This is what I tried to do on stream today with my game of ranked, but it didn't work out for me. Sadness.
Yeah, I only played three ranked games, all of them in Kid, topped the team every time. It was amusing.
Sure. I'll keep playing it. It's fine.
Well, I managed to get all three destroyers on my second match's red team with one salvo of torpedoes from Kid.
Alright, so here What you would hope that your Benson would do would not be to YOLO charge their carrier, but to stick
if
with
you
the
see in
Kaga.
Chat is I told them to stick together for AA, and of course they didn't listen. So
And they do the opposite. And the Benson should be smoking the Kaga up. CV is low on hit points? Oh, that's even better. That's even better. Now, if the carrier dies, you lose 90 points, they gain 60, so they still don't win if the carrier dies. Very risky to let yourself get spotted because you might be telling the Bismarck, hey, pop your Hydro.
yeah, and part of the reason I didn't want the Benson to YOLO it is because I knew that I might need those risky points.
Mm-hmm.
I like when he fired him though, because the Visit lost a lot of speed right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I waited until the very end to.
So it was going to be, even with Hydro, it was going to be a lot harder to avoid those torps.
And the other thing is I don't have any vision there, so I risked the spot, and I'm gonna get really risky with it.
Wow.
Just because I know I have to end it.
That is extremely risky.
Now, I didn't intend to sail out of my smoke here, but I did.
No.
But yeah, this was a misplay.
AP might be a better choice into the superstructure. I know you're trying to get him on fire again, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is I think you popped your smoke early because you're well within the Bismarck Hydro.
Yep.
Yeah, this from what I've seen so far, that's really the one mistake that you've made so far.
No, the one mistake you did was playing ranked.
Well, that's a valid point.
I cannot believe that the Bismarck never used Hydro there. He must have used it before and it was on
Did they
cooldown.
win?
Yeah.
No. Optics'
I
team
didn't-
won.
Yeah, I didn't even see the end of it. It just
Yeah, that was a win
Stop.
by the skin of my teeth.
outstanding.
The funny thing is I had another one that was almost just like this the previous match. Also got high caliber on it, also enlightening, but we lost that one by a few seconds.
Well, if it was a good game and you still got some good XP and saved your star, then whatever, right?
Yeah. I still would rather have had the win, but
Oh, I hear you there. Well, thanks for...
saving a star is one thing, getting it is another.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, right. Go back to that ranked conversation I was having earlier about steel and why I stop at 6 usually.
I mean, yeah,
Well, appreciate you covering it.
the aggression, knowing when to be aggressive. Like last night in my Stalingrad, we were on trap, and our team was not doing well because they were just letting the entire red team hang out in B and do whatever they wanted. And I got sick of it, so I just charged straight in there, TS to freaking Puerto Rico and an Ibuki, and all of a sudden they were like, "Hey,
now following.
we know how to do that too," and they ended up winning. I died, but it got the the point across. If you're gonna sit out there, we're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
The Ibuki was very unhappy with me.
Sure. Kyle, thank you for the follow, by the way. Even if the Bismarck had used his Hydro, why? There's no reason to be out of Hydro until he saw optics. That's a good point, Dutch. My guess is when he saw the original torpedoes that went for the Monarch, he popped his Hydro. Because a lot of times we see battleship players say, "Oh, there could be torpedoes. There's a heightened chance of torpedoes, right?" And so they use that as a way to say, I gotta defend myself. And that's when my guess is that's when he popped the Hydro. We'll never know unless we reach out to that player and ask him. He's probably not going to be interested in telling us, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I wait. If I know what destroyer is over there and I know he's fired all of his torpedoes already, I wait for a good 40 or 50 seconds before I pop Hydro on one of my ships.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because
You need to pop Hydro for spotted torps anyways.
I mean, why waste the time? If I know there's not going to be any torps for another minute, why use my Hydro until I think they're coming?
I mean, at the end there, I was expecting to get spotted too, whether it was by him or Hydro. That's why I was so close to the rock, so I could just duck behind it if I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out, so.
Sure.
Like
That was
I
great.
just figured I had to end him, so I had to be close enough to, even with hydro, for my torpedoes to not miss.
More importantly, it would have been nice if that carrier just spotted that guy while you could keep distance and sit smoke
Yeah.
reset that guy.
Well, that's okay. I think the Kaga was interested in what the Parsifal was doing, and you know, I can completely understand it. He was so much closer. The cool thing is, you saw that at the end, the Kaga turned his planes around to help you out.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, that was nice of him.
Whose replay is this?
This is David's replay. And he used Cover My Replay to force it. Oh, Duckman's in here too. Jeez, everybody's hanging out today.
Pandemic, man. We've got nowhere else to be.
I hear ya. I hear ya. Though, I don't know if you were in at the beginning of this or not, Crimson, but I basically have this week and next week to stream, and then school starts up again.
Are you going to be actually teaching in person, or are you going to be doing virtual teaching?
So,
Oh, dear.
we could talk about that now because there's not much going on in David's game. He's playing the typical role of a Russian battleship, which is hit the reverse key and point the bow towards the enemy.
I know, right?
Personally, my recommendation, if you're going to play that way, would be to go where actually the Alaska is, because then you've got that whole island shielding your flank side. Just seeing who you need to turn up. Oh, okay, Duckman. It's kind of tough because everybody's default's at 100, so I have to turn some people up and some people down.
Fresh is now following.
So let me know, that's fine. Fresh, thank you for the follow. So the original decision was that school would open on a blended learning schedule. We would take our students and divide them up into 4 groups. Group A, B, C, and D. Now, Group A, B, and C are people that will rotate into school for 1 week at a time, and then for 2 weeks they would be off and stay virtual in order to keep our class numbers down. Group C are people who either the students or HE, what? Either were the students or parents didn't feel comfortable coming back to school, and therefore the students were going to be 100% virtual. So that was the original plan. And the idea was, I understand it, the idea was that they wanted it so that there would be some physical interaction between teacher, student, you know, whatever, right? And it sounds great on paper, and it looks great on paper. What they wanted us as teachers to do was nice. That's why you fire AP. Basically teach a lesson in class and then teach the exact same lesson digitally, so that the students did not feel left behind because they were not in the class physically. They were digital. So yeah, I don't know how that's gonna happen, but that was the original plan.
Lovely.
As of about a month ago. Of course, things change. We had this thing called, in the United States, called the 4th of July, which is our Independence Day, in which you get a whole bunch of people get together to drink alcohol, and they definitely do not social distance.
Nope.
Now, surprise, surprise, number of infections of, you know, are on the rise.
Yeah.
Some 2 to 3 weeks after 4th of July parties. It's almost like you could see this happening.
No, never.
Right.
Never. I would have never seen this coming.
So, our school, of course, looks at guidance from our state government and the national government, of course. Oh, who won?
What was that?
Oh, okay. Go ahead and do a drawing whenever you're ready, Bud, by the way. But so anyway, so our state government's health department says you can reopen school. We're in an area, and it's important to understand, you know, just because the United States is going up with cases, we're relatively okay in northern Illinois, Texas, Arizona, places like that. Whoa, you know, like stay away. But you know, in Illinois it's fine. So the health department says as long as you're able to maintain, oh, this is Alaska, as long as you're able to maintain social distancing, I almost said 6 kilometer. That's how much I'm doing replay analysis and Warshares. 6 foot distance, right? Which is, you know, basically 2 meters, a little bit under 2. I don't know, whatever. Nice kill on New York. Nice. As long as you can maintain that social distancing, you can make sure the kids are wearing their masks and all that kind of stuff, then you're fine. It's not a big deal. You know, there is a tolerance level, right? We are sure that there will be some new infections, but as long as it's not, you know, as long as we're taking precautions and stuff, then we can still have school. Well, apparently, our area superintendents had a meeting earlier this week, and in that, or at the end of last week, one of the two. And in that meeting, they were told by the health department that if they cannot, if they can't guarantee 100% social distancing and mask usage by kids and faculty, staff, all that kind of stuff, they can't guarantee that we would follow all of those procedures, then the school is liable for exposing students and staff to the disease. In other words, the school could be sued.
Yeah.
What a petty request.
So
it's CYA time all over the country right now.
and I'm not going to comment on right or I really don't want to turn this into political. I really don't. Okay, I'm going to try very hard not to. All of a sudden, what happened is all these school districts in our area all of a sudden started making these decisions to go 100% virtual. Like, makes sense. Why would you as a school put yourself in that additional liability risk of getting sued, right? So I want you to think for a moment if a teacher, a student, or family member of a student or teacher gets sick, dies, or becomes incapacitated, whatever. The fear is that they could sue the school. So, right, Dutch, exactly. If that's the condition, then that means school has to be closed. So most of the area superintendents said, nope, we're not gonna risk it closing it. I got an email from our superintendent last night that they are going to open school. However, there are a select number of students who will be in school. So you guys, most of you that aren't in schools don't understand just how entrenched things can get with schools, especially when it comes to litigation and lawsuits. The school spends an awful lot more time than you probably realize dealing with lawsuits. So, the school is going to be open. Teachers are going to be expected to go to school. So I will be expected to go to school, but the vast majority of students will not be in school. The majority of students that will be in school are students that are special education and require special education services under law. Because if the school is unable to provide those services, guess what? The school can be sued. And is typically sued in those kinds of situations. So,
A couple of quick things about the replay.
go ahead.
I wanted to watch it long enough to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. Shot selection, except for one or two occasions, has been really iffy.
Mm-hmm.
And ammunition choice has been even more iffy. He's spending more time, it looks like, trying to disable guns than actually inflict damage on the ships that he's shooting at.
Yep.
And that's, you know, this match is 11 minutes in. He's got basically 61k. He's got a sunk ship, but he's missed so many opportunities to have 120k, and that entire flank sunk right now.
Right.
I mean, those are 16-inch guns. At the ranges that he's shooting, they're fairly accurate. It feels like he's taking as much damage as he's giving, and that actually more damage than he's giving, and that's not good. The shot selection has been...
So, if you don't mind, let me jump in as somebody who doesn't really play battleships well.
Please.
What I'm seeing here is, I don't see any obvious shots that he could have taken. Maybe that York was broadside for a little bit. That would have been a good shot, but he was moving. It looked like he was alternating speed and direction a little bit, so it was a hard shot to nail. It looks like everybody's pretty much bow in here to him or not spotted. So what is the move?
HE.
So in this case, the best move would be to fire HE at the Rosia to try to burn it down. And it's exacerbated by the fact, I just wanted to say exacerbated. It's exacerbated by the fact that the Rosia has twice the hit point armor on its turrets than the Sovietsky Soyuz. So we say it's a premium tier 9 Russian battleship. True.
It also has significantly better dispersion, so if you're talking about a one-on-one trade, you're down a tier and much less accurate.
But
like I said, he keeps trying to disable guns rather than actually inflict damage on the ship.
Yep, and that goes back to your comments exactly right, Crimson. That's why I'm mentioning that HP difference, which a lot of players don't know about because there's no official information put out there. The only reason we know about that is because Little White Mouse...
Atlantis 1974 is now following.
The forever MVP.
Because
Like,
Little
where
White
he's
Mouse
aiming
put
right
it out
now.
there.
He's aiming at the superstructure, but those shells are going to hit the turrets, most likely if they land, and that's not going to get him anything.
1 overpen and 4 ricochets. You actually saw it bounce off the turret face.
Yep.
So...
I mean, if he'd been firing HE this whole time at that ship, it would already be dead.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
Hujam...
yeah, he's got 17 defends, and that's great, but he's got 17 defends because he's playing it wrong. I know it sounds weird when somebody's got that many defends and you say they're doing it wrong, but he's doing it wrong.
Yeah. Yep, I like the idea of moving to a better position, sure. But while you're doing that, by all means, HE away. The way that you're gonna kill this guy is you're gonna force him to waste time with DCPs and all that kind of stuff. It's an attrition battle. It's not like you're gonna blap him and kill him.
Is that a Monarch that's behind him?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have it full screen, so I can't see. I mean, he ends up getting the kill, but he gets it because the Monarch just absolutely wrecked him with HE.
Maximus says, I suck at this game. You guys would love to criticize my playstyle. Maximus, I would love to help you learn the game. And we're not out here to criticize you. We're not going to make fun of you. By all means, submit replays if you want. It's fine. I'll help you notice we aren't making fun by any means of what David is doing.
I mean,
Yeah, but one thing about him keeping the AP loaded, and maybe this is what he's thinking, I mean, could
It
be a
did force
500
that.
IQ, is he forces the guy to stay bow in. Because he can't turn broadside, because he knows one of these guys has got AP loaded. And just let the Monarch burn him down.
I mean, that's a valid point. Puddin's not wrong there.
That is Puddin, yes.
I mean, I'm just looking at it from the view of I've been in that situation so many times. I think anybody that's played Battleship, enough has been in that situation so many times where bow in is about the only shot they've got, and they're ringed across the front, and they want to keep that AP loaded because at some point somebody's going to give them a shot. But the problem is, you can't wait for them to give you what you want. You have to take sometimes what they're going to give you. This battle would already be over if he had.
Oh,
Now-
I agree. He should have at least thrown one round of HE to maybe bait the guy in the turn.
Yep. Now,
I mean, look how fast the tier 9 died once the Monarch started hitting it with HE. I mean,
What-
it was done.
one thing I want to point out, Puddin, I would totally agree with you normally, but the fact of the matter is that guy was butted up to the island. He didn't have an awful lot of room to maneuver. So in that situation, he's not going to react whatsoever to shooting HE or AP. He's just simply going to sit there. So normally, if there's a lot of open water, if he's got the room to say, oh, this guy's shooting HE at me, now's my time to turn out or something like that, I can see that. But he wasn't very interested in doing much of anything
the other
right
problem
there.
with that strategy, I think, is looking at the points, looking at the ships. You're not in a hold situation, so holding him bow in, even if that was the intention, I don't think would have been the right move.
Yeah, he had to get rid of him.
Absolutely.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
the other
Maximus
battleship
with-
played it right. Like, he stalled these two guys for as long as he
Yeah.
could.
Now,
Yes, Sentinel Riga, I think, does have torp.
no, Riga does not have torps.
Riga does not have torps.
No.
Talon is the last one with torps.
Now, if
Oh, my bad.
nope, it's fine. If the Monarch hadn't switched to HE, you'd still be fighting this guy right now. Like, and I think that's the important thing to think about is we talked about before how you can't control other players. You can ask them. You can say, hey, can you shoot HE at this dude? But most of the time, you have to take the situation in your own hands and say, okay, I need to make him do something. I need to get this guy dead or what have you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Maximus, as far as aim is concerned, and honestly, to hit certain spots, all you have to do is fire a salvo, see where it lands, and then just adjust your aim to the left or right accordingly. I mean, it is really that simple.
That's right.
Oh, you know, I aimed here, my shot's hit the superstructure. Let's move it 2 inches to the right. I'll hit the turret. I mean, it's
Yep.
getting hits is actually more difficult a lot of the time than hitting a specific spot, because once you've learned how to get hits, hitting specific spots is not difficult.
No. Craig, cheers. I am in the dirty water, you better believe it. And nice kill there on the Riga. So, no, the Riga does not get torps. The tier 8 does get torps, I believe, the Talon. But,
As useful as they are at 4 kilometers.
yeah, you know, they're meme-worthy. But, I mean, you know, they don't get torps.
I have used them before. There are people that will run you down and try to do a drive-by on you and then
Sure.
hit them.
Now, at tier 9, the Donskoy, yes, does have torpedoes.
8 kilometer torpedoes, in fact.
Yes. So, I can understand the confusion, but for whatever reason, tier 9, no torpedoes. It was a beautiful shot, yes. C-Red won. Wow, nice.
I mean, in all honesty, the fact that this game is this close ship-wise at this point is kind of amazing.
Yep. Now, David, you slowed down, and personally, I would have sped up to get into the cap first, then slowed down. Because you need the cap points as quickly as possible. You also need to kill the Suri,
Which shouldn't be too hard.
and you also need to kill the rest of their team.
Which might be a little harder.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna
992,
happen.
That's not gonna happen.
Nope. F's in chat for David, and for Zest Replay Theater's win rate.
This
Yeah.
is right about now is when you start thinking, I wish I had a little bit more time that I could have saved on that first cap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by staying bow in like that and keeping the AP, you didn't move him off his spot. If somebody's going to try and dig in a spot, what you have to do, no matter what ship you're in, is figure out a way to dig them off it, make them uncomfortable enough that they will reflexively move their ship. Because when they do, somebody's going to have a shot. It may
That's
not
right.
be you, but somebody's going to have.
So this is where having something like an HE spammer like a Mines or something would have really helped. But I think MVP of that game goes to that battleship that just held everybody at that cap.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep, that's
This is,
Sophie.
this is one of the new matchmaker things for low tiers.
That's right. Ace, does Petro get torpedoes? No.
No. I actually want to do this. I want to see what a tier 2 bot battle is like.
It's a great way to farm
Imagine the
achievements.
Imagine the achievements you could get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great if you need to if you want to do like a daily Kraken or something.
I need a Kraken.
I get the feeling it actually wouldn't be that easy because sometimes you get in these like co-op matches or something with a lot of bots. The sub matches were a perfect indication of this. You can't like control how the bots are going to play, so
No.
you tend to have wipeouts one way or another, and
Yep.
you actually end up on the wrong side of them quite often.
Yep.
Somebody clearly doesn't play tier 1 a lot.
I know, right?
Easy peasy. When a teammate is already capping, you better stay out of the cap. That's true, except when the teammate is a battleship, then just get in the cap, because they're gonna get reset. You're gonna get reset. Just get in the cap. Get in the cap, Shinji.
Or, you know, if the teammate is Zath, then you're afraid he's going to team kill you if you don't get, you know, very, very close to him.
So on that point, it's something that I didn't understand at first, and I was thinking the same thing. So just in case Easy Peasy is thinking this way, you have your own cap points. So you getting reset only resets your cap points, not your teammates. So you getting reset in the cap isn't necessarily a detriment.
Yeah.
All that it does is change the time at which it takes to get the cap.
And I think a lot of players don't understand that. I learned it simply by looking at, you know, the point things while they were happening and people were getting reset, and I realized, okay, we're still gaining points, we're just not gaining them quickly, and that's how I learned that's how that works. Nobody ever told me.
Yeah.
Nice if somebody had.
It took me a while to figure that one out.
Yep.
I think I've been playing about a year before I figured that out, to be honest.
Now, somebody said
Wait,
something
really?
before.
Yeah?
Well, but remember when I first started playing, I played almost nothing but co-op until like December of 2017. So I've been at it a year and a half before I really started investing in PvP.
Yeah, Craig. There was
Surprised some of
fur.
this information isn't out there readily available.
That's right. I had Stevie's fur, so I had. Bleh. Anyway, we were talking before about assured distance and spotting and the spotting mechanic. Here's a great example of that. Your smoke is useless if the enemy ship is within 2 kilometers of you. You've got both the Novik and the Umikaze that are within 2 kilometers, so guess what? They can see you now. And bots were bots OP whatever medium difficulty. So bots were actually really OP, and then Wargaming had to turn them down because the co-op win rate was suffering.
Yeah, my co-op win rate's like 96%.
Yes, mine too.
And then I've got like 6,000 co-op battles.
But the thing is that the bots are almost better than humans because they always aim at their same target, at the exact spot to hit the center of mass, which means that the chances of their guns hitting,
And they know where you're at.
they know where you're at, and they also focus fire much better than humans do.
You know, a lot of people are like, you know, co-op is easy mode, and to an extent that's correct, because you can make mistakes in co-op that you cannot get away with in randoms. But at the same time, you have a much higher chance of dying early in a co-op match than you do in randoms.
Yep. Now the Umikaze is kind of like the OG seal clubbing ship because look at how quickly the torpedoes reload, and the fact that it can stealth torp when you've got concealment expert makes the ship just ridiculous. It also has a secondary gun.
Smith is fun too, just for the fact that you can pump out so many single fire torpedoes.
Smith is an absolute blast. And Tachibana, to be honest, is pretty fun too.
Yep. Now, keep in mind, this is not a co-op battle. This is a random battle that has bots in place. So you take the co-op win rates and you apply that to random battles, and holy crap, you're getting a F-ton of XP earnings.
Go farm PR now.
Right? Get yourself on that leaderboard for the Umikaze. I mean, just look at the ridiculousness that is the Umikaze. He's literally just sailing around, torpedoing bots, and he doesn't care.
The thing about my co-op is I played a lot of very high tier very late at night, so I've ended up frequently as, you know, the only guy and a bunch of bots on my team, and then, you know, they all get deleted, and all of a sudden it's me against 6 or 7 ships, and frequently that ends up as a loss.
And there's the double strike and the Kraken.
He almost got team killed. This looks like hilarious fun.
I know, this is
I want to
what
do
we can
this
do.
so bad.
I know, me too. The only thing is it doesn't count towards the daily missions, for steel. So, like, for
But
me,
it counts towards fun.
but it counts towards fun. Damn right, counts towards fun. Holy
I
crap.
mean, that just looks like it would. I mean, it's like tier 1 with all the bots, but so much better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fun is the mission, like Maximus said. Whew. So my cunning plan is going to be when Wargaming stops giving steel.
Tatakaze is now following.
Tater Kaze, thank you for the follow.
I've
When-
had 2 Krakens at tier 1 in Black Swan. That was funny.
when yeah, when Wargaming stops giving out steel for completing the daily missions, I don't need coal, so I will probably just complete the first daily mission, and then just dick around and freaking
Have a
co-op
party.
or tier 2, because I don't care, you know, like.
Do you really need the steel?
I need
Yes.
the flags from the achievements more than I need the steel.
I need the steel. Because you
I've got,
never know.
like 12k steel right now. Oh yeah, the store is however the hell you pronounce that. is-
Strozovoy?
Yeah, it
Strozovoy?
is so much fun.
Oh, this new matchmaker for which one is it? The Dursky would be fun too.
I'll tell you what, Duckman. A week ago, I had a solo warrior at tier 2 with the Mikasa.
I got one with the tier 2 PADD on my EU account.
Nice.
I was cackling like the Wicked Witch of the West. It was hilarious.
I mean, that's what you do. And to be quite honest, I hate to say it, but I feel like most players could really use to just do a deep dive in tier 2 again. And I apologize to all the new players that are going to get clubbed, but for those people that are getting to the point where they're at their wits' end and they're going to, you know, start getting toxic in chat because of X, Y, and Z, like, you know, tier 2. That's where it's at, or 3 even. But the problem with 3 is that 3 can get you into carrier games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to win tier 3s because you have just absolutely no control. You have so many new players on your team, which is fine. But I mean, you can't. You would think you would be able to go and like club and just carry a match, but it just doesn't work like that.
Or you can do
Lightninger.
the shameful thing and try to teach those players at the lower tiers how to play.
I mean, God forbid we should do anything like that to make the game better for everyone.
Right? Lightninger, you just said you have a 19-point captain on your Storo. I'll see that 19-point captain and raise you a 19-point captain in the V25.
I
Now,
got a 19-point captain on Black Swan.
this isn't just any 19-point captain. This is one of the Von Jutlands, which has a boost to vigilance
Dude!
in the V25. So I want you to think about that for a minute.
Oh my god, that's
all I'm hearing is
hilarious.
that you were really desperate to win some torpedo jousting.
I know, right?
Damn right, he is ready for whenever we do tier 2 torpedo jousting. He is ready to go.
Wait, isn't 07 doing that tonight?
I don't know.
I could have sworn that they were. I have to check on that. I would love to torpedo joust Lord's ass because I owe him.
That's terrible. Sorry, Sand. Where else am I gonna put the dude? Because typically vigilance isn't considered the optimal choice to pick for most battleship builds or cruisers or especially destroyers. Come on. So where am I gonna put him? I might as well
use
put him someplace.
I've got one of them on Nuremberg and the other one's on Bayern, I think.
I've got mine on Kurfürst because vigilance expands the hydro, and
Yeah.
you know.
I
if
just haven't switched them. What I did was I got them after I already had 19-point captains on those ships. So what I was doing was I put them on the other ships and I was using operations to boost the captain much more quickly. I think Bayern's 19 points now. I think the one on Nuremberg's only 12.
And vigilance on Henri is fine, but that's not a German captain, so you can't use the Von Jutland on Henri.
I mean,
Ergo,
vigilance
my
is useful, but I personally only use it on things where it gets boosted. I mean, I am not going to sit there and eat torps, so my vigilance are my own eyeballs and reflexes rather than a captain's skill.
Yep.
You guys are so rude not eating destroyer torps.
I know, right?
Maybe we should probably talk about Cthulhu's game a little bit.
No.
Okay. Cthulhu said we could skip it anyway, so we could just talk and be jerks and whatever.
Well, I mean, we are kind of talking about it because, you know, it's
Maximus,
trying to torpedo a battleship, so.
if you sell
Honestly,
a ship,
it took me a second to adjust back to that this wasn't bots in this game.
when you sell a ship, can you use the captain from the ship you are selling for your new choice? Yes. or are you forced starting fresh with a new captain? So 2 things to understand about this, Maximus. One is that your captain is attached to a ship. We call that trained to that ship. So if you sell a ship with a captain on it, that captain typically will go to the reserve. Now, that captain is still trained to that ship, no matter what. The only way to move him to another ship is to retrain that captain, which you can do for 500 doubloons, or the way that personally Zath does it, and most other people do it, is you spend 200,000 credits to reduce the amount of training necessary to 50%, and then you grind through whatever's left.
I just use Elite Commander XP to finish it off.
Via Elite Commander XP, yep, or premium ships, whatever you want to do.
And free XP will do it too, but I recommend keeping your free XP for other things.
Right. So, generally speaking, that's how you do it with commanders. Now, if you're talking about a tier 2, 3, 4, or 5 captain on that ship, my recommendation, just keep on the damn ship. Because you're going to spend a lot of money and resources and time moving them up to higher tier ships.
Yeah.
I will tell you
Tier
this.
6 is where it starts making sense for me.
Yep. I will tell you this, Maximus. If you are somebody who is going to play this game for a very long time, I recommend having a permanent captain on every tier 6 and up ship. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if that means that you have to start from scratch by buying a new captain for 1 point for 10,000 credits and boost them up to 10 points, so be it. 10-point captains are pretty cheap. So,
if you don't mind me jumping in here, one thing that I would personally recommend, and if you disagree, please jump in, but go up the line and starting at about tier 6, retrain your captains into the new ship, because as a newer player, the first thing you want to do is get one 19-point captain first. That way you can start building up that commander XP that you can then use to either level up or retrain other captains. So what I do is I will take one captain starting from about tier 6 all the way to tier 10 and retrain him up the line, and then I will backfill with a new captain my lower tier ships and then build those up.
So I will tell you that's what I used to do. And what I found is that it is actually more cost effective to have specifically assigned captains to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Below 5 doesn't really matter. I mean, Destus is what about 5? If you want to, you could. But most of the time at tier 5, you're playing premium ships. So there's no need to have a permanent captain on your tier 5 Umikaze, for example. Because you're going to play Kamikaze or, whatever else. Right, exactly. So if you... I guess, Maximus, I would say, since you're a new player, it comes down to, are you playing this game for the long term, or are you playing it for the short term? If it's for the long term, then keep your captains on your tier 6 ships and be done with it. If you're playing for the long term, if you're playing for the short term, then by all means, upgrade your captains, move them up with your ships as they go up on tiers. The reason I bring that up is because tier 10 captain builds are pretty quick to get to. It doesn't take a lot of time and effort into getting into a tier 10 captain. So once you get to that 10 pointer, that's typically where the bulk of your skills are necessary. And then you go from there. I have wasted so much commander XP moving my captains from ship to ship to ship to ship, and then backfilling later, as you said, the other captains when I reset the line, for example, and I don't want to waste the time. So that's just one thing to think of. The other thing to think of, if you get special commanders like Yamamoto, Halsey, whatever else, then typically those captains you want to move into whatever tier ship is competitive. So like I move my Yamamoto captain to Akazuki. You better believe I will move him to Kitakaze once I move up from tier 8 to tier 9. But I also have like 60 million commander XP, so I don't care. But for most people, like what you want to do is just put them on the specific ship and take your time. You don't need to rush.
Oh, did you pause the stream?
Yes, I paused the stream for purpose because Cthulhu Because Cthulhu opened up on the Talon, and I want to mention how this might not be a good idea. He opened up on the Talon, and in so doing, basically told the Talon, hey, you can radar and shoot me. But at the same time, you know, and now he tells these guys where he is. Personally, I don't like the idea of opening up on the Talon. Now, if the Talon is at 1,000 hit points or less, open up on the dude because you can kill him. But at 6,000 hit points, the chances of you killing him by the time you duck behind this island are nil. And you risk getting shot at in the process.
I'm really concerned about...
I was going to say two things before you went on once. If you're a new player, and Halloween is coming up, so there's going to be the Halloween event with 19-point captains. Farm those events for Elite Commander experience. It will help you out immensely on saving on credits and stuff like that, moving captains around.
So what Puddin is saying...
They give you 19-point captains for all those Halloween ships.
Yes, you'll get 19-point captains, and then all of that XP you earn is Elite Commander, so you can definitely farm Elite Commander XP that way.
And do you want to do a German crate?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So just a comment about opening up on the Talon here. I don't disagree with it. I think I would have gone your route and just played it a little safer, but he was low enough to where maybe you can set a fire or something, and he didn't need to get behind that island. He just needed to get around the corner of Talon's island.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest downside is just revealing where you are. Talon's short radar, I don't find it that difficult to deal with because it's, if he's running the upgraded radar, that's 2 salvos. If he's not running it, that's 1 salvo.
Right. Now, Cthulhu says, hey, Mogad, or whoever, if you guys can kill the Talon, I can take B. Mogador's already in B, so B doesn't matter at this point.
I'm looking at shot selection, the use of torpedoes, and his positioning, and it feels to me like he's not really aware of where his team is. I think he's aware of where the other team is, but he doesn't seem to be aware of who he's got supporting him and where he's at. He's basically just sailing in a circle, dumping torpedoes, and they're not long-range torpedoes. I think what Z-23 has, what, 8 kilometer, 8.5 kilometer torpedoes?
9.5.
9.5?
Yep.
I thought they were shorter than that.
Nope.
But I mean, he's firing them at long range at ships he's just not gonna hit unless they turn around and come back.
True.
I mean, he got the one. I mean, they're not coming at him, so it's not like he's area denying anything with the torpedoes. There's nothing to deny.
So
like he's firing them in hope.
So one thing I've noticed about Cthulhu is he does play very close to his teammates because he knows that teammates can help him win games. That's okay. I do agree, I would like to see him play a little bit more aggressive. Like right now, there's no reason for him to not go into A. He's got Hydro up, he's got an Iowa with him, he just detected a bunch of torpedoes. Now's his chance to get into A and take it away from the enemy team.
And also, it's a strong flank for the enemy team, so the CV looks like he's a lot more concerned with, or at least was more concerned with, taking the other cap that the Mogador was in.
Right.
This is Instant Cthulhu, right?
Yes, this is Instant Cthulhu, correct.
And to be fair, in his defense, because I am one of those people that's played a lot of co-op, he plays a lot of co-op, and sometimes if you're mixing and matching them throughout the day, it's difficult to get that mindset to shift from one to the other as far as how you have to think.
I mean, if you look at the minimap, his team has 1 at B, his team has 1 at C. The enemy team is bunched up at A, so I can definitely understand why he might be a little bit more cautious in his maneuvering, but at the same time, like, he opened up on that Talon and risked getting shot at by a bunch of ships. He didn't.
I wouldn't have got the Talon personally.
He
I
didn't.
think that's what's throwing me off. There's some plays that are overly safe and some plays that are overly aggressive. He's not in aggressive mode or in safe mode.
Exactly.
Well, Cthulhu by nature is not an aggressive player. I mean, that's not a strike or anything negative against him. He's
in most DB cases in what I've seen lately in randoms, that's a good thing.
I mean, he can be aggressive if he understands the circumstances that he's presented with, but for the most part, he's very much take it as it comes. And you know, that's not necessarily a negative thing, especially like you said with the way people are playing these days. I'm an aggressive player.
Now, I paused the game here for a second because this is another decision point. He's even on teams, but he's ahead on caps, obviously, in point gain. He's down on points, but there's 2 Fredericks plus a Destroyer, looks like, that are on the 1 line. Personally, I would go back towards the 1 line to try to thin them out a little bit. This is a decision point. The other point that he could do is to turn south and spot the Talon, the Zara, the Iowa, and eventually maybe the Buffalo for the team. Personally, I think going north to the 1 line would be the better choice. Raining has spotted it. There you go.
Yeah, you know, if they're going to be all running away and spread out, I'm not going to chase them. You know, if you want to run, if I've got you to run away, then I've already done my job. I'm going to go try and get somebody else to do that instead of chasing you.
I'd like to see Cthulhu at this point heading towards the 1 line. Actually, I'm sorry, 3 line. Towards the 3 line so that he has a safe distance to torpedo the Frederick de Rosas. Meanwhile, your team has entrenched themselves in B cap, which is fine. Talon is radaring. Okay, so they know where you are. Big deal. They're only gonna know for like 20 seconds.
I think I would agree with the 3 line here, but he is sort of far away from support. I mean, he's got support at B, but this is almost protect your CV type of
Yes,
time in the match.
absolutely.
Put
And
yourself between that skein and that FDG and just make sure that they can't come in, and he's got that radar threat coming in too, so I wouldn't want to be caught alone too close to that A cap.
And his biggest threat, honestly, I mean, he's got the CV, he's got the Lex supporting him. Now he's opening up here on the skein, and that makes sense because the Lexington is there too. But that tells the Frederick where he's at. I wouldn't full speed. If you're gonna smoke, I would stop. I would torp in the direction of the Frederick. I'd say screw the skein. Who cares about him? The Frederick is the bigger threat, and to be quite frank, is the bigger opportunity to earn XP and damage. Enemy team is moving to A, so like going into A is a death sentence for you. Dutch, why even smoke at this point? He was spotted. He wanted to open up on the skein. I think he was expecting the carrier to spot the skein for longer, but that didn't happen. So now it's time to get out of here.
Yeah, I think it's the right move to disengage here with the smoke anyway. Take a few pot shots at it while you're there, but I do like his positioning where he is now in between the carrier and the Amalfi.
Yep.
So none of the people at A can just push in willy-nilly without at least...
Yeah, I would point out that for all the the differences of opinion we may have with his chosen playstyle, acknowledge even with just 11,000 damage what he's accomplished simply by not dying. He's held off half the enemy team simply by existing.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of this, that's why I said he's a cautious player at heart. Cautious destroyer players are actually really good for a team because they live longer.
Now, as the Frederick moves south, oh, it's Holy Water Cow. Oh, he's in a new clan. That's interesting. Holy Water Cow is a good player. I remember him from like closed beta. That's sad, but I do remember him. He radared. So I would be moving farther south at this point to either cut out the Frederick or get myself in a position to shoot the skein.
Like I was saying, he may not be doing it exactly the way that I would do it, but he's getting the job done.
I mean, if it gets the results, that's what matters the most, of course. Now, Cthulhu said we could skip it, and I'm glad we didn't skip it because This is good stuff.
It's got a lot of good points there. I think this Amalfi's misplaying it pretty hard here.
Sure. Now here's an example where Cthulhu opens up with guns. He gets spotted, but he kills a ship. That's the idea. Fine.
As long as you kill whatever it is that's spotting you, you get unspotted really fast.
And there goes our Amalfi as a bot.
That's okay. You know what the Amalfi is doing? The Amalfi is extending the game so that he can allow Cthulhu to smoke up here and farm with guns. That's what the Amalfi is doing.
That's really nice of him.
You have to
I'm
look
sure
at this.
He did that on purpose.
This is a gift. Plain and simple. There's the gift right there. Boom. Get closer. Fire with your torpedoes. Kill the Frederick, or at least damage him. Who cares if you don't kill him? That's okay. And come away with this with so much more. Keep your torpedoes. There you go.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, what I saw right there, I really, really liked, because most destroyer players do not do what he just did. They stick with the torpedo lead instead of understanding that lead is moving. Put your torpedoes where that ship is going to be instead of where the lead says it's at right now.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, he continued to turn, but often he doesn't. There's a good chance he's going to turn back. I mean, if there was enough time left in the game. I mean, what he did with his torpedoes there was perfect.
In that situation, I would have probably held the rack just to see what his reaction was, but yeah.
Well, it was the end of the match, so
Yeah.
you know, earlier in the match, you know, I would have probably held a rack to see just how that turn was going to go, and then I would have put the second set out. But yeah, what he did there, as far as the way that he fired them, was textbook.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh boy, it's about to storm like a boss here.
Oh, really? Wow. Good luck, man.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you at? Sea Red, this is your game.
More or less west central Georgia.
Hmm.
We're 2 blocks away from the Chattahoochee River.
Never heard of it.
Just literally a couple of blocks away from the Alabama state line.
Oh, wow. Alright, guys, do me a favor. I'm gonna hit the bathroom for a sec, so you guys go ahead and start talking about what's going on in this game. Looks like it's Benson in a tier 10 game, so yay.
First mistake, you played Benson. Why did you do that? No, Benson's not bad.
Okay, have fun.
Yes. 8 meetings today. Tell me about it.
Good luck and fair seas.
Okay, even though there's not a CV in the match, one thing I would have done instantly was make sure that my AA was off, just in case a spotter plane rolls around. I just make sure that my AA is off on every destroyer when every match starts.
Yeah, typically I don't. I mean, I keep it off anyway, and if I need it for planes, I'll hit my. I move my spacebar to be my priority target select for AA, so I just smack it on and keep it off regardless. But that's just me. One thing, this map in particular is a really flanky map.
Right.
The caps are almost always a trap here.
Well, the A cap is a nightmare.
There's only one DD here on each side, and there's no CV, so it's not really, I'm not going to call it a misplay or a bad decision or anything, but it's really easy to get in trouble in these two caps whenever the matchmaker has a little different layout.
That's actually, is that the B cap? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the B cap.
that's me.
Yeah, that cap, him going in like that at the start, that close to it, with being unable to be supported by virtually his entire, especially, wow, they linked hard too.
Yes, they did.
And he should have been on the outside. Whenever I'm on that side of the map, I always go around the outside.
Yep, and
Because you're gonna spot everybody trying to get into the cap as they try and get in.
while
and
while his team
he
is
can't get
doing
away.
that, while his team is doing that, that's a pretty good example why when I'm in a south spawn in a torpedo boat destroyer, I love going to the 1 line here, because that big island that's right there on the about the 3 line between around F and E, those teammates of his that are there right now, they're pinned there. They can't do anything except either go forward or hit the reverse. So I can throw torpedoes all day long. They can't do a thing about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Blitz, I'm looking to do replays for at least another 45 minutes, if not an hour and 45. It comes.
Once he realized, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna put out a poll to you guys to tell me if you want me to keep doing replay action or if you want me to switch to a different game. I've got a new game to showcase to you guys. It's called Shapes.io, so you can tell me if you want to see it or not.
I mean, just from a vision perspective, wherever your team is where you need to be. I mean, he's sitting, on the edge of a cap. He's only really got one way out. He's going to take damage just getting out of it.
So,
I consider the B cap to be an absolute no-win situation early in the match on Haven.
one thing I'm gonna mention, maybe play a little devil's advocate. So there's two things to keep in mind here. One is that he's the only destroyer on his team, and there's only one destroyer on the enemy team. 2, there's no carriers. So in a situation like that, I think going 1, 2, 3 line is putting your team at a significant disadvantage, both in spotting and in cap control. Now, if the enemy destroyer goes to B, well, then he needs to just say screw this and go to C. But clearly the enemy destroyer went to C, so him going to B is perfectly fine. Now, you are correct in that if he gets spotted, he's fooked. So he has to play this really carefully to make sure he stays outside of radar range of opponent of any opponent radar or whatever.
He does have that Smolensk backing him up there.
He does have the Smolensk, sure.
He
But
also has that Montpellier that has radar. We're about to be in radar range.
Yep. And you've got this Alaska that's just hard charging for no good reason. So if I were to look at this map in that situation, I would do exactly what Red is doing. I'd go to B. I would try to grab it. If I saw the destroyer, I'd say screw this and I'd go to C. If I don't see the destroyer, I'd cap B, then I'd go to C and try to screw with the destroyer. What destroyer is it? Is that 23? Come on, I can beat him.
Famous last words.
In B for death. Yeah, I'm not saying that what he's doing is not going to work. I'm just looking at it from all the times I played this map and how badly B seems to go every single time.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
stop playing badly.
My
I'm not the one playing badly. It's just the people in front of me that are playing badly.
It's somebody
this
else's fault.
I get this map in a battleship more than anything, and I just watch my destroyers and the other team's destroyers get nuked early on, time after time after time.
Yeah, I did preface it by saying that in this situation with no CV and only one other DD, this probably isn't a bad move, but whenever you have multiple games,
You call those traitors.
when they get really iffy, these 2 caps in the middle.
Hi, Milos, what's up? Good night, thank you. Hey, good to see you, man. So Shaves.io, it's basically, it's kind of like one of those connection games. It's all about building factories. The idea is you automate creation and processing of different shapes across a very expanding map. It's kind of like one of those indie games. It's super cheap. It's like $4. Yeah, it's $4 on Steam. I mean, we're not talking about a ton of money.
In all honesty, what got him here was the red team simply isn't coming at him.
That's right.
I mean, his entire team is coming around that flank slowly, but they're coming around it, and the red team is just running away. I mean, that's not skill on his part. That's just them being bad.
Pretty much, yes.
I mean, he's benefiting from it. I mean, and you have to take advantage of the opportunities they give you. They're going to run away and give you the cap. Take it.
Now
Generally
here's
speaking, they don't do that.
I'm not
Here-
sure why the enemy team is backing up like they are either. It's like there's a little force field there that they can't push into.
So we talk a lot about with battleships the idea of projecting power, and I think
Oh,
this
this
is a
is gonna
great
hurt.
example of that. Like,
Ooh,
He's
no.
projecting that power by simply capping C or B cap and then being in this position. Now, I think one thing I would have done is I would have smoked up and started shooting this Henri a lot earlier. The Henri, of course, takes a torpedo, so that's great. He's flooding. So he's probably out of this game at this point. You might as well kill him at this point. He's going to use Hydro, but as soon as he dies, that Hydro goes away, so what does it matter to you?
That's unfortunate. Your small, one of your smallest just went by. Got freaking detonated.
Well, I mean, if you're going to play Smolensk and you're going to detonate, then oh well.
It's called justice.
I know, right?
Yeah, Henry decides he doesn't want to play this game anymore. I agree with you there, that's for sure. But
Smolensk is sure fun to play, but it's horrible to play against.
so the Henri got too aggressive early on, and I think he got aggressive partially because his Z23 is able to cap C without any contestant.
I also want to point out, when we give, different opinions on ways that we would do things like that, we're not necessarily saying that
Major
you're wrong.
underscore flaws
It's
is
simple,
now
it's
following.
perspective. I've said it many times. The more perspective you get, the better player you are. It keeps you from making the same choices and same mistakes over and over and over again because you have more information.
I think that's especially true for destroyers. There's just so many
Yes.
to play them.
Major Flaws, thank you for the follow. I love your game, your name by the name. Yeah, you can kite away, but Patton, I would definitely use smoke to keep yourself from being detected. The problem is the Henri used Hydro and detected him, but the Henri was dead anyway, so it didn't matter. But in that situation, I agree with the idea that you want to shoot and not give up your hit points early in the game. Late game, maybe that's a different situation, but early in the game, and I still consider this an early part of the game because there's only 3 enemies and 3 teammates that are dead. I paused the game though, because this is an important decision point that C-Red needs to make. And I'm not sure if he's making the right choice. Personally, I would go to C at this point and tell my Smolensk to back me up. Because you only have the Z23 and the Donskoy that are there. And that's it. So, who cares if you're under the Z23? Who's going to back him up? Nobody. Personally, I would get C, secure it, move south.
Torpedoes to starboard.
There's the Z23.
Direct front.
Senor Zed not aim well.
Now, Z23 of course has its Hydro, so you don't necessarily want to charge him right now, or if you do, then at least use Engine Boost. There you go.
Engine boost activated.
Charging him means that if he's got Hydro located, he will see you and get free shots on you for at least 1 or 2 salvos before you catch up to him, if he's standing in smoke. So, personally, I feel like this is a very risky decision. That's right. General Patton, everybody's got their own decision. Exactly right. Oh my god, you are so lucky the Z23 is not using Hydro. Imagine-
Rate of fire makes a big difference here.
Imagine using Hydro in a destroyer that comes with Hydro.
I know, right?
I think my
Is
cat
he
might
not
come-
wearing camo either?
Didn't look like it.
Nope.
I mean, I agree with this decision too, because the way that I would look at it in this case is you were almost full hit points. You're gonna take a few hits. You have the Smolensk behind you. You have an opportunity to wipe out the only DD on the enemy team right now. I'd take that risk.
Yeah.
The key is the support. If the Smolensk wasn't there, I would agree with being more cautionary, but with the Smolensk there, then go for it.
Well, knowing how many hit points the Z23 was down to, and knowing how many you had, I honestly would have done it even if the smallest hadn't been there to back me up.
Right.
I think I
You
probably
have more hit points and a much higher rate of fire. So, unless you get detonated or just severely horrible bad luck happens, you're gonna win that fight.
Even if you trade, you take the only eyes the enemy has off the board.
That's correct.
You know, I mean, that is worst case scenario, but you know,
Well,
you
he
gotta
did
think of
torp.
it like that too.
He did torp. He did it, you know, right. He put torps out so that if he, you know, maneuvered to get away from him, he was going to run into the torpedoes. That's exactly what he should have done.
The other move would have been put the torpedoes in the smoke and try to push him out of the smoke. That way you have in your charge, he's not hidden in smoke for those 2 salvos or whatever.
Generally speaking, that makes sense because you would expect that Z-23 would be sitting there running hydro, but as we saw,
He
it wasn't.
didn't.
Yeah, exactly right.
Unless it was on a cooldown.
Could be. Rip your Smolensk though.
Wow, both of your smallest got smacked.
No, that's just justice.
Oh yeah. Here.
I don't care if it's on your team. That's just still justice.
As long as he's not detected, I'm still shooting here.
Mm-hmm.
Because that ship is going to go down if you do it. So you're going to be in a lot less danger shooting and killing it than you are maybe it surviving and then all of a sudden you're detected and you have no smoke.
Well, you are in
I
radar
like how he
range.
switched to
Well
AP
within
right
radar
now.
range, so that is a little
if it's on-
dangerous, but
If it's on cooldown, he's safe. It looks like it's on cooldown.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know, paying attention to what's going on.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
I mean, he's
that
done
was a
some
good
he's
move
done
by
some
using
really,
the
really good
AP.
things.
Now it's time to go hunt the carrier.
Yeah, my whole thing was I wouldn't necessarily have started the match the way he did, but the other team gave it to him. So
Yep.
he took the opportunity, he took the advantage they gave him, and he ran with it. That's exactly what he should have done.
And here he's doing what I would do, and I'd be going straight for that last remaining cap. Even if you can't cap it, you at least force them to come defend it, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Take some
It's the only
pressure
crap
off.
they got. I mean, yeah, he's doing very well.
Volantis, what do I think about the Cossack?
Activated.
I love the costume.
Some people really enjoy the Cossack, like Crimson. Some people really hate
Yeah.
the Cossack.
Like
It's
that.
I never got into it. I really just I don't know. I'd rather have a lightning, but like it
I
comes
love it, but I can't get high damage in it.
yeah. It's
I
an
mean,
okay
a
ship.
gunboat. I mean, I think, you know, especially if you're a gunboat DD driver, Cossack is a blast.
You have to be good at managing your smoke, and
It's a bigger, better hider.
yep, staying far enough away from the enemy.
It's really it's really easy to influence a match with it because you can pretty much wipe almost any destroyer you come against
Yep.
out of a cap, and you can basically make a cap your own.
I mean, it's a lot like Orkin in that regard, except, you know, Orkin doesn't get smoke and it has radar. I mean, both of them are very, very good for bullying other DDs and bullying caps.
I
Yep.
actually don't like working for that because
I
the
love working.
radar just doesn't last long enough to make it that useful, and the lack of smoke just means you can't.
I mean, it is situational. You have to understand when to use it. That is very true. But if you're playing around caps, which you should be in an Orkin, the odds are the radar is going to work in your favor.
Yep. Now here's a good opportunity to stop and smoke and shoot the Brindisi. But he's so low, I think you're trying to hold that smoke for later if you need it. Hey, don't bite my thumb.
Die!
Yeah, his guns are turned too, so
Die!
on behind an island you have at least a few free shots.
Atlantis, you could get the Cossack for some more tools. Personally, I think the Lo Yang is a better choice, but
Engine boost deactivated.
Competitive
ranked.
wise, I would take Lo Yang, and that's because of the Hydra.
See, I think he should have slowed down there and utilized the island for cover.
you could do that.
Keep shooting.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
I think he's looking at what's facing him and understanding they're not really shooting at him, so he's safe and he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Brindisi did turn its guns and did take a couple shots at him.
Yeah, but his thinking,
shooting
I'm pretty
like
sure, was he's not
Nope.
going to be able to kill me, so let's just keep doing this.
He broke line of sight around the island and he stopped shooting afterwards, so he was safe. That Brindisi basically took his guns off of whatever target he was shooting for no reason.
Stevie doesn't like when I use my brush on him, and he's got some really bad knots by his legs. But he's very
You should
sensitive.
replace the cat with a dog.
No.
No, Stevie's awesome.
Stevie is awesome. Anshan's fun, but the turret traverse is terrible.
Oh god, it is. It's horrible. It's horrible. Oh, did I tell you we got another kitten?
No.
I think we've had him 6 weeks now.
Wow.
We named him Diego because all he does is go. Go, Diego, go. He is a Toiger. It's a domestic cat bred with a Bengal cat. So basically, he's a toy tiger. His face even looks like a tiger's face.
Mm-hmm.
He is so adorable and he is so affectionate. He just runs around to everybody, headbutting them and loving on them and purrs constantly.
Nice.
He's like a dog in a lot of ways. You like come upstairs, he runs to see you if he hasn't seen you in a little while. You come home, he comes running down the stairs to come meet you at the door. He's, I'm gonna say 14, 15 weeks old now. He is just the cutest little thing.
Now here the move is to step off of the cap so you have a little bit longer to farm more damage, right?
Why would you use S? Oh, he's not using SE. Okay, I was confused. I thought he was saying he was running SE on his Henri, and I was like, why? But he's not.
Mm-hmm.
I use my clever captain on Eagle.
Our team has taken the lead.
I could see that.
It's one of the honorays, so he's got the improved marksman, which Eagle needs badly.
Mhm. Alright, well. Not a bad Benson game, C-Red. Thanks for sending that one in.
I mean, yeah, you know, his teammates, you know, they ended up working well with him, but to be fair, the red team gave it away from the get-go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing against, you know, Red and how he played or how his team played, but the red team gave up from the start. As soon as they realized there were people in front of them at the B cap, they all just turned around and ran.
They definitely
'Cause
did.
That's how you win matches.
But that happens a lot on that specific map, is you get people that really get scared of destroyers and they start turning and running away. And it's such a kind of like medium-sized map to where if battleships do that, then they're out of the game for long enough to not have an impact on the battle, but close enough to where they could turn back in, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, the map, most people don't like it. I don't think it's a well-designed map. I don't think many people do. So being uncomfortable with the map influences the decisions that you make, especially with the bigger ships.
Right. You ground the sea.
Not a bad DD map.
Flantis, you don't like the guns? Really? The guns are great. You pick up the 150s and then you run IFHE on them. Because 150 divided by 6 times 1.25. Oh, you used to run IFHE on them. Now you don't. Because you can't pen 32 millimeters of armor now. That sucks. Alright, Rating Recon. Come on in if you want. I think you're still here, but I'm going to go ahead and ping you on Discord because I can.
Yeah, those 150s are no joke. I remember absolutely brutalizing a Kutuzov with Z39. They are just slaptastic, those guns.
That is the case, yes. See Red, good night.
T-boned.
Benson game was 2.4K basic. I could see that.
Yeah, I pulled that in Stalingrad last night. It was funny.
Oh, right. That's right. The Germans have 1/4 HE pen. Derp. So you definitely don't need to. When I first ground the German destroyer line, that was before they had the 1/4 HE pen. But you're absolutely right. There's no need to run IFHE, especially on that.
This is Raining Raycon's replay?
Yep.
Alright, bust out the criticism, y'all. Let's dive deep into this one.
So with the 150s on that, you pen 38mm with the German HE, right?
Yep. Or is it 37 point something?
I believe in karma. I was pouring ravioli down my neighbor's letterbox. I wonder what they've done to deserve this.
Wow.
What?
Why waste the ravioli?
A, why waste the ravioli? B, why admit the crime in front of a whole bunch of people?
I do believe it said he allegedly did this.
Hmm.
No, he didn't say he was allegedly doing it. He said directly he was doing it. That's funny.
Sir_Nooms01 is now following.
Sir Nooms, thank you very much for the follow.
The ship is on fire.
I like his shot selection. He's getting good damage from the shots that he's taking early in the match.
Yep.
Naturally, he's finally gonna throw us a replay where he basically does everything right, and we just have to sit there and go, damn it.
Well, that's where we criticize everything he does, right?
We're finally getting the good one.
Why is he playing that ship?
There you go.
That was my first thought.
Oh!
He wants Iowa. Ooh, that was
No,
not
see,
good.
see, you got hit there. That was a mistake.
Yeah, big mistake, Rainy. God, you know, uninstall.
I know, right?
Torpedoes, direct front.
I mean, you've already had to burn a heel. God.
Problem solved, sir.
And now you're gonna pull a Notzer, and
No, he's
now
not.
you can't shoot at anything because positioning is horrible.
This is questionable positioning.
It's horrible. Let's be honest about it here.
Now this is a standard battle, so it's a good idea to not push too far forward. Let the enemy come to you, because typically when they come to you, they come in one by one, and then you shoot them and kill them.
Yeah, Raining, you are not wrong. You are definitely not wrong. The
Still
Crimson
bad.
experience is definitely the bottom of the barrel, and it's one that I recommend all of you take at the earliest opportunity.
Oh.
And should you do it, my only request is that I be present to watch it as it happens.
The Crimson experience is the best. Step 1, invite Crimson to a division. Step 2, play a test ship. Step 3, get Deathstruck in 3 minutes. Or less.
Step 4, leave Crimson to try and carry a bunch of freaking potatoes the rest of the way.
Enemy battleship destroyed.
When I tell you it does not work out well, I am understating just how badly it goes.
So you're saying it works all the time, 40% of the time?
Yes, you should be shooting
That
the
is an
Mogami.
accurate way of stating it, yes.
Shoot the Mogami. Shoot the Mogami. Okay, don't.
See, who is this potato?
I know, right? And one thing that I always like to say to everybody, no matter what ship they're playing and what map, just because it's shooting at you doesn't mean it's the easiest target or the more dangerous target. And people, they have a tendency to just shoot at what's shooting at them.
That's right. Alright, Blitz is using a sub ticket for a Bourgogne game. Cool. Let's do it.
In Recon, you're not wrong again. 40% is probably too high of an estimate.
The ship is on fire.
I would like to point out, I had an opportunity to just zap out of existence 2 consecutive matches a month or so ago, and I chose not to do it. And that's because I am biding my time. I am waiting for the most brutal opportunity to pay him back.
Did you watch that TV show How I Met Your Mother?
No.
I think I watched it all the way through about a year ago.
There's a bit in it that runs across multiple seasons where one of the characters loses a bet and has to get slapped, but they don't make a stipulation about when the
Oh,
slap is
right.
coming. So it's a running thing for like 3 or 4 seasons where the other character that's getting slapped is just constantly waiting for it to happen, and it's just worse than it actually happening.
Yep. They did that on Family Guy too. Now you should be shooting the Mogami here. I don't know why you're not.
God, Zeth's really got it out for the Mogami.
It's the easiest target.
He deserves to die. That's why. Come on. Why would you shoot
him?
him?
Why
Did-
he doesn't
did
have a
Zeke-
dreadnought, a solo warrior,
Did
a diehard,
ZPH bomb
and
do
a
something
Kraken
to you?
now.
And an insinkable.
The ship is on fire.
Along with a clear skies.
I mean, doing the missions for Odin in the dockyard is obviously the easiest, cheapest way to do it. You're still going to have to spend some doubloons to finish it.
Yep.
But the more missions that you finish, the less doubloons you're going to have to spend.
If you can do all the missions, it's like 3,500 doubloons or something like that. It's not bad.
3,750.
337.50. There you go. So not a bad deal. Hey, look.
3,500. It's 1,750 a piece, like per stage.
That's what I thought. Whatever.
I thought it was 3,750. I think they even said it was 3,750.
I think you're getting the 750 from the 1,750 and adding it to the 350
Maybe I am.
or 3,500.
I very well could be. I personally like the Odin as well.
You can do a lot of the, actually, really all of them you can do in co-op.
Yeah.
The experience-based ones are probably easier in randoms, but the ones that are like secondary hit ribbons or something like that.
I mean, the quickest way to do it, obviously, is to understand how you play and you know where you can complete the missions. I mean, you can alternate co-op and randoms and do the missions in a heartbeat. It's not anything like Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they're
you got
doable.
your wish with that Mogami. That was a disgusting hit.
Yes,
Oh,
it
he's
was.
naked. That's what he deserves.
I mean, even had it not been naked, Mogami was simply always the easier target. They're very easy to sink if you can catch them right.
Mm-hmm. Now, despite all this, your team is still even on the ships.
Your destroyer play has been
Questionable.
And I love the adult joke about trying to find the Azure Lane Littorio. Love it. Hey man, some people have trouble finding the Azure Lane Littorio.
That Umikaze was isolated from the rest of the map for a while. That
I'm
ship-
gonna leave that alone.
I mean, I think it would be a better joke if she had smoke. I would not turn south here because now you're just getting into Umikaze's torpedo range.
Wait,
It's only
what
8
happened here?
kilometers.
Did your Cossack die?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh wow.
That's
Gun-
why I was saying destroyer play for both of his destroyers were extremely questionable. They were in positions they never should have been in,
Yep. He got gunned down by the Umikaze Keck.
which has got to be making him feel horrible.
Yeah.
Umikaze is not Hirakaze.
I mean, it's got workable guns. It's just
That was a nice blind shot right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do love seeing the evidence that people actually pay attention to the replay analysis that they get.
Blitz, no problem. We'll try to get you some assistance with the Bourgogne. Well, it looks like your team's Baltimore definitely found the Azure Lane Littorio. Because he rammed it.
Oh my god.
What? I'm sorry. I'm just saying what happens in the game.
I am well aware of what you're doing. The innuendo, it is real.
I mean,
Bismarck is dead.
yeah, you kind of wish he would pop Hydro so he could at least see, but oh well.
I mean, even with Hydro, those at that close, that range, those F3s, ugh.
Yo, if Umikaze can get you in its torpedo range, it is a nightmare.
Well,
They smack the crap out of you.
the main thing was with the Hydro comment was more just to keep the Baltimore spotted so that Raining can shoot him.
The ship is on fire.
I mean, he's dead. That's a given. It's just a question of like, what else could happen? Oh look, more
So you mean
torpedoes.
selfless play? You mean something happens after he dies?
Hmm.
Attention.
Yeah.
Concentrate all efforts on protecting the base.
I don't
Well-
really have a lot of fault with what he's done. I mean, his team left him, a couple of times, and not before now, in some very questionable positions that required him to reposition, and so he couldn't have all of his guns on target. I mean, that drastically reduces your damage potential. I mean, he's done almost 100k, only having, one turret a lot of the time to use, so...
Sure. Oland is detected now in the camp. Hopefully the Roma can at least try to get some resets. The thing is, when it's a standard battle like this, it takes a good amount of time for that ship to get the cap, so Raining does have a little bit of time to screw around.
I love how you said he's going to screw around.
Well, yeah, why not? I
We
mean,
have no faith in Raining!
That I wouldn't.
do.
You have a CV, so I mean, really, it should be the CV's job to reset. You should just be worrying about punishing anybody else trying to get in the cap.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Again,
Unless,
that's
of
putting a
course,
lot of
you're
faith
in
on
the
somebody
battle
else.
with Zeth. If you're in the battle with Zath, now is the time you determine to team kill him.
Thanks.
You're welcome. We're
Why
gonna
would-
win! Zath dies and you lose. You were saying.
Torpedoes to starboard.
Yeah, but if I'm in a test ship, oh well.
Torpedoes dead ahead.
Oh, I'm not gonna do it when you're in a test ship.
I see.
I'm
Goodbye,
gonna
Baltimore.
Wait until it matters, and then I'm just going to nail you.
You destroyed
Baltimore's a paid actor?
I know, Seabear's right, expecting the Seabear to do anything meaningful. He's not wrong. He's trying, but
He is
wow,
trying.
he's achieving. That's surprising. Of course, if the Island is just going to sit there and let him torp it, then that does make it easier.
Mm-hmm. Look, we're tied up on points, despite the Ole being in the cap for so long. That's interesting. Come on, Roma.
Damn, only one of your DDs was alive to take that wide open cap.
Mm-hmm.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Something with a low detect, like, I don't know, just throwing it out there, Cossack?
Nice!
Yep. Oh, rip the Roma.
Fighter airborne.
Oh, well, that just changed things.
But fortunately enough for Raining Recon, the Umikaze decided he would smoke so that Raining knew exactly where the torpedoes would come from.
Well, I hope they complimented him for doing that.
We shall see. The problem is
Look
you're
at
still
every-
down on points. You have to kill this Umikaze within 4 minutes to win.
I like how every time something goes right for his team,
It immediately goes wrong right after it, yeah.
That's how it
Welcome
always...
to randoms.
In rank 2, you get a kill, you lose a ship. Get a kill, lose a ship. Get a kill, lose 3 ships. Like, it's what it is. I like how the Parsifal is trying, but the Umikaze refuses to leave. Oh, there he is. Shoot, and then cut speed and turn in hard in case.
The ship is on fire.
I mean, Recon is straight carrying the crap out of this match.
Wooden Chef, what's up?
despite his team's best efforts.
Yeah, they do appear to be very determined to make sure that his efforts are for naught.
Yep. Blitz, you're welcome to jump in a voice if you want. Please don't feel intimidated by Crimson or anybody else that's in here.
He calls me out. I'm like the least of your concerns, and I'm the one he calls out.
Hey, he has to be nice to me. I run the giveaways.
That's right. Crimson is no...
I'm not SAT. I don't try to be SAT. I'm just offering perspective. I'm not, coming in here to be like...
Yes!
Listen.
We got a death pick finally! Shay Guy with the raid!
Shay Guy underscore aided my stream with 13
Isn't he the
views.
guy who tried to stream snipe you earlier?
No, he was actually streaming while we were playing that game. Shay Guy, what's up, dude? Thank you very much for the raid, my friend. And we just watched Raiding Recon die. So this is gonna be fun.
I've never claimed to be SAT. I don't want to be SAT. One SAT is enough SATs.
Stream sniping, I'm insulted. What clan are you in?
Who?
I don't remember. What clan are you in, Shay Guy? Are you in 007, QQ7, 07? I seriously can't remember.
There are so many sevens.
There's lots of
More
sevens.
importantly, I risked my life to give him that shout out.
Oh, did you seriously? He's in QQ7. Got it.
Did Raining win this match, or did they lose?
It's looking like losing. Those of you guys that just jumped in on the raid, so when somebody sends me a replay, we cover all replays, of course. If the person dies, we take death picks. We watch them sink because it's fun. Totally not morbid
I know,
at all.
right? Killed half the team still losing the game because that's justice.
Social
I feel
clan.
your pain.
You know, if they lose now, this is all Raining's fault, right?
That's
Well,
right.
he shouldn't have sunk.
Yeah, exactly.
He should
That's
have
right.
just dodged.
He should have killed more.
Uh oh. What's happening? What's happening? Crap. I'm getting a phone call. Phone calls are bad. Why am I?
Rye underscore guy is
Behind
now
Go away.
following.
Taxes.
Go away.
It's the IRS.
Sorry about that, everybody. Everybody abandoned ship, right?
Abandoned the streams. That's got a phone call.
The wife is calling. No, she went for a bike ride. So now I get to spend all kinds of money without her knowing it. Until it shows up on the credit card statement.
Yeah, but I'd say yeah until she sees the credit card statement.
Well, let me clip that real quick and send it to her.
Zap in trouble.
That's right.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
Alright, so now it's carrier on carrier. 1 minute to go. You could still win this, not. And you lose. Well, you're helping SAS Replay Theater's win rate going down, so that's good. Thank you.
Jerk.
We must strive to be average here.
Hello, Patrice. Alright, Blitz, we're loading up your game. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and do a poll, and I need to know if we should continue doing WoWs or Shapes.io. And we'll make that a 5 minutes poll. Here we go. Patrice with the flex.
Zath needs to go play a first-person shooter,
Oh god, I've done that so much.
so I can laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh.
Why?
That's my job.
Okay.
My job is to point out all of your deficiencies.
Excellent.
Haven't really found it yet, but I'm holding out hope.
Alright, that works. Alright, so Blitz is in the Bourgogne to standard tier 10 game. There are carriers, but that's because you brought a carrier division mate, so that's on you, my friend.
That is all. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
He wanted to play it.
That's alright.
Should have kicked him out of the clan.
As you can see, he's not in my clan.
Should have kicked him out of his own clan. We have a running joke that in clan battles, whoever dies first gets kicked out of the clan.
That's brutal.
I mean, it's a joke. I'm obviously not going to do it, but
It's still funny.
it's funny, but it serves a double purpose of making them pay attention.
Now, I really hate this map because this map typically you get a whole bunch of people that go to C and then they just sit like right outside of C and don't actually go into C. Meanwhile, your team gets wrecked at A and B, and then you lose. So I like the fact that you're going to A.
Well, he's got the speed boost and the maneuverability to pull it off. I think that's important to know.
Yeah, I typically like going A on this map in the battleship, especially if I know I can get some support from some teammates, but typically speaking, I try to kite away if I don't get support, at least hold off as many people as possible. But the Bourgogne is just weird for me for some reason.
And battleships with speed boost can pull off A here really, really easily.
Sure, but I would not have gone A first. First of all, there's only 2 destroyers in the game, 1 on each side. So there's absolutely no reason to rush to get to A. And I think that the reason why I say that is because what you want is you want to get into the ability to use your speed boost to get out of trouble if you need it. Right now you're using your speed boost to get into trouble.
Okay.
So you detected the Colorado, you fired at him, or sorry, Conqueror. He fired back at you, of course. The thing about the Bourgogne, at long range like this, I typically like to use HE because you want to start that fire, and then you want to wait for them to DCP, and when they DCP, that's when you use your main battery reload booster and just laugh at them as you set 3 more fires on them.
Yeah.
I want Bourgogne for the simple fact that I hate facing it, and that right there tells me it's a ship I'm gonna have a whole lot of fun playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am one of those people that if I have difficulty facing another ship, I hate facing it, I do everything I can to get my hands on that ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, document. Generally speaking, engine boost is best used to get yourself out of trouble, not into trouble. So, like, you can use it to actively maneuver at long range. That's perfectly fine. Like, if you want to have an HE pissing match with this Conqueror, which looks like it's what you're having, then right now is when you absolutely want to have that engine boost so that you can maneuver a little bit quickly and dodge those shells, obviously.
Recon, I am so far from a Unicum CV player that there isn't even like a position on the board to put me on.
Yep, and Edgecase is right. An engine boost mod would be very handy here.
Like, the bad CV players are better than me.
But your main goal here...
TVs are better than you too?
Your main goal here isn't necessarily to kill ships, it's to keep enemies away from A so that your teammate can cap, which he's done.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm actually a good battleship player.
I'm not.
I think coming up soon here, I decided to just go towards mid because staying over here and just being in a pissing match with the Conqueror is really what I wanted to do the whole game.
Mm-hmm. Completely understand. Conqueror's probably going to win that game.
Recon, my positioning on the board is going directly to hell just for playing the CV.
Yep.
That's my position on the board.
So, this shot that you just took at the Conqueror, I probably would not have taken. I probably would have instead tried to stealth up, and then turn north. I don't want the Conqueror to see that I'm turning north, though, because if the Conqueror sees I'm turning north, then he knows you're not there anymore. If he doesn't see that you're turning north, he sits there and waits for you to shoot back at him. And then imagine his surprise when you don't shoot at him for a minute and a half. And he's like, where'd he go?
Yep, and that salvo was wasted because there was like 5 ricochets, and even here I was to take more shots at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I use my battleship engine boost to not necessarily get out of trouble, but to get to a position that I like more quickly.
Sure.
Your CV's getting awfully close.
Well,
yeah, they were moving away, so he thought the best thing would be just to chill there and help mid by not being spotted anywhere near mid, right? He's behind that island, so that's why I think he took that position. But it ended up working out in the end.
yep.
I don't have
And
a problem with the CV.
you got a decent shot on the Stalin, so you might as well take it. But of course, he's already starting to change course. Oh, look at the Hakuryu! Their Hakuryu made an even bigger mistake. Holy crap. Look at
Yeah,
him.
he's sitting in mid.
Yeah. So I'm sure you're in voice comms with him, so I would be communicating with him and saying, Dude, keep that hack spotted at least. Like, just throw some planes up or something.
Yep.
And I would probably be switching to HE at this point.
Yeah, the problem with the Bourgogne I'm finding is that AP is just so inconsistent for me, and I think 90% of the time I should be shooting HE.
Absolutely. I find that this ship, you play it more like an Henri than like a battleship.
Mm-hmm. So that's how I play Alsace. I play Alsace like a really big cruiser.
Terras Mark, no giveaways for any server. All you have to do is be a follower and hit exclamation point ticket. That's it. We try to make it easy for you.
Like that AP salvo.
Yep.
To be fair, I mean, HE right now is not really that bad of a thing because they're not giving him really good shots for his AP.
Now against the Hindenburg, I might use my reload booster here.
Kirk_007 is now following.
Because he's not really maneuvering. As a matter of fact, he's backing up. So you're going to be guaranteed somewhat broadside shots on this guy for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk007, thank you for the follow.
Doctor_Threat
Recon,
Solo
even the
is now
stream thinks you're a
following.
failure, man.
Dr. Thrax, thank you very much for the follow as well. And Kirk, I recognize you. You're one of the members of the Kill clan, if I recall correctly.
Dispersion.
Yeah, your dispersion this match has just been horrific. That's not your fault.
Yeah,
The solution is to
and-
get closer. Lol.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it doesn't seem to matter what he's shooting at. If he can get more than one hit, he's RNGesus has blessed him.
Yep. Meanwhile,
I mean, I'm watching what looks like should be great salvos and then one hit, and I'm just kind of like, that's fair.
and see what's happening at
Current
C.
on your premium RNG payments to WG?
I know, right?
Apparently not, so I have to throw some money at them.
That's right. So the enemy Haragumo has died at C-cap, but your team refuses to push in. Again, this is what I talk about with like why I hate this map, because they just sit behind C without any interest in actually going in.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about C on trap is if you can get it, it's actually very easy to hold.
Okay, Edge, that's true. They don't need to go into C. True. They have a cap advantage, which means they are gaining points, even though they've lost one additional ship. I just... God, in randoms, I just can't trust my teammates to, like, live longer than 3 minutes.
Yep.
So, to me, I would look at this as... All the Yamato has to do is just hit W for, like, a quarter of a kilometer to get into the cap, and then stop there.
I would like to point out that Zath has a nasty habit of dying 3 minutes into a match.
Only when you're on my division.
Only when I seem to be in a division with you, but it still happens. I will always enjoy that clip because, I mean, it wasn't intentional. He wasn't trying to do it. It was just pure bad luck, and we had just been talking about it before the match, and then that happened. And it was just like, okay.
It was one of those, like, perfect moments when just, like, the universe opens up and says, here, have this moment.
Yeah.
HK says, I have a different problem with C on this map. My teams always send, like, 4 or 5 guys to A line. Oof.
Yeah, it's a really bad problem. And
Yes,
content
this
on
is-
map by the C-cap.
Well, yeah, I've noticed that people, when they go to A, they don't want to come away from it. And honestly, they have the same problem at C.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I have taken this ground and you shall not pass. And I'm just kind of like, you're going to lose.
So here's an example. Of course, he disappeared, but the Stalingrad DCP'd, so now's a good opportunity to use your reload booster, set him on fire again, at least once.
Yeah.
Oh, Blood Vessel with the host. Thank you very much, Blood Vessel.
One thing I have noticed is you're having difficulty judging whether a ship's moving forward or backwards.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This game I was, yes.
You have a lot of shells landing where you thought the ship was going to be, but the ship
Yep.
was actually going the other direction.
That Stalingrad in particular, he was being very, I guess, happy with the WASD.
Mm-hmm.
Would be the
I mean,
case.
he was using hacks.
Well, no, it's not hacks. He's just playing smart, right? He's playing with the throttle so much that it's throwing me off, and that's what his job is, really.
Well,
But-
Raining, you said the enemy team isn't really interested in contesting B. Who can get in there? That's the problem. Who's going to be able to get in there in order to do something?
Well,
Yeah,
if they
it's
had a
it's,
DD
it's
allowed
covered
to
from its
go.
open sides. Anybody that goes in there, if they don't come in directly through those two islands behind that, the big island, they're going to get wrecked. They have no TD.
I paused it for a second because you say everyone can get into B. The problem is with the carrier that constant spotting means if anybody gets into B, the carrier's going to find them immediately, and then your team is pretty well spread out. I paused the game.
They've covered the open sides of the cap.
Correct. I paused the game for a second because I'm looking at the minimap, and I just found somebody who's offering themselves up on a silver platter on your team. I'm going to ask anybody in chat to post who has offered themselves up in a silver platter.
That Petra's in a really bad spot.
Bingo!
Yeah.
Yes, to get killed, exactly, Dutch. There's absolutely no reason for that Petro to push forward, yet he is doing such.
It's a really long trip around that island when you're getting shot at.
Yep. I will say this game does pick up very soon.
It's a long trip around that island if you get spotted in a destroyer. It's an even longer trip than a cruiser.
And
Ooh, and he's not even trying to get around the island. He's just staying broad.
yup. Enemy team gave him some money.
Apparently so. That is unfortunate. The fact
Well-
that he's still alive is shocking to me.
And I was just
Maybe
gonna mention
he
that.
thinks that he's on the red team and he's just trying to get into BCAP to get some points.
This is like the Dances with Wolves play, right? Where he just runs out on the horse with his arms out to the open, and everybody tries to shoot at him, and they can't believe he's doing it, and they can't kill him.
You know what he's
Hi,
doing?
Blood Vessel.
They're
He's
not even
doing-
shooting at him.
That's
He's doing the selfless play. He's offering himself up
Right.
so that the red team comes out from behind that island so that the rest of your team can shoot them and get damage.
Yeah, I'm
He's
sure
just
that's
being very
exactly what he
selfless.
was thinking. I am astonished that he's not dead. And he's killing instead of being dead himself.
He's just
Oh.
bowing in the middle now.
They're
Fortune
called
favors the
randoms
bold.
for a reason.
Well, and the thing is, he managed to make the turn, so now he's bow in, so really hard to dislodge him at this point.
Touch, unfortunately, I think we're giving him way more credit than he deserves. He just got really, really lucky.
Blood Vessel,
Why don't I ever get that lucky?
4
I
hours
know,
of
right?
Blood Vessel says 4 hours of ranked, and he gained 4 stars in that. Oof, my friend.
That's rough. Yeah, whenever I try and turn in any ship, all of a sudden everybody on the enemy team has me sighted and starts shooting at me. I don't understand how it happens, but
Yep.
that's my life.
Monko, there's our list, although this is a cover my replay game.
I do not get that Petra's RNG at all.
Alright, now,
Yeah.
Blitz, I just paused it for a second too, because I want to mention, I just saw it in the minimap, something important is happening. What's happening right now?
They're pushing into B.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
pushing into A too.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
but
Kerberos is coming around the flank.
Yep.
to me, the A isn't the biggest problem. The problem is the Conqueror and possibly the Salem, though it looks like he might have beat you. So-
Yep. They're pushing into B, and it's gonna be a problem very soon.
Gandalf!
3 just resubscribed for 2 months. We'll have to
Fortunately,
go
I mean,
dig
the
out
match
a
is
replay
almost
later.
over, but as long as somebody doesn't get sunk.
Oh,
This
it gets
is
a lot worse.
Like the Petra, who is probably going to do something really stupid here in a moment.
This is that desperation
If I'm-
play, which sometimes just does stupid things.
If I'm in a Thunder, I'm ramming straight in through A and trying to take out the carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's where he was going.
And speaking of Petro,
Bye bye. RNG luck run out.
Triple fire in that salvo, he puts it out immediately.
Yep. One thing that I've noticed when it comes to randoms especially is that a lot of players, when they play the game, they think one step at a time. I'm going to go to A, or I'm going to do this, and then when it happens and they succeed, oh, I did this, now what? And so then they start trying to think of what the next step is.
you know, they don't plan ahead, and like we've said a number of times on the stream, you know, just because it worked the one time does not mean that you actually did the right thing.
Right.
Yeah, the reason I'm going to A, back to A, is to save my CV right here, because those guys are pushing in, and I figured if I'm over here, they won't round that corner as easily, and I can get cross shots into B. That's the whole point of me coming back to this side, but it took a while to get some accurate gunning going and accurate guns with this thing.
I mean, you're not gaining any points now, you're losing points.
Yep.
Well, that's the problem, right? They've got C.
Quick.
They've had C the whole time. Your team has been happy to sit right outside of C and just guard it for them, and now they're dead.
And even here, the Haragumo could, I mean, he's just open water. He could bolt for C right now. The only thing he has to contend with over there is that curve first.
Yep.
Yeah, your nope, I'm out plan is especially true for a destroyer. A
Yep.
destroyer driver has to think halfway through the match as soon as the match starts to understand what he can and can't get away with, where he can and can't go. He has to pay more attention to the ship types and the exact ships in a match than anybody else does.
Mistakes
Absolutely.
tend to compound very quickly in destroyers too.
Now,
Yep.
question. I'm in like save my CV's life mode right now. Is that the correct thing to be doing right now? Because I think it was, because me being there prevented them from rounding that corner. But is that typically fine?
In my
Well-
opinion, yes, but not only because of the CV. It's just because you have that charge coming in at A, and
Exactly.
if they get around A, regardless
over.
of whether they kill your CV, you're just crossfired from every possible direction there, and the rest of your ship's whittled down in minutes. Actually, not even minutes, maybe a minute.
And that's the point that I need to make too, right? Exactly. Your team is so far off of every single cap point that
There's just no options. There's no plays.
the only way for you to win in 3 minutes is to get kills. You need to kill at least 2 ships to do so.
Yes. It actually turned out being 4 ships. But
So, I mean, plus, I hate to say it, but if you're in voice comms with a buddy, then you can trust that buddy far more than you can trust your Haragumo, Moskva, Thunder, and Yamato.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, and this was my comment earlier about the CV pushing so far up. I don't
Hey,
think
look.
it was a problem when he did it, but the situation that he's in now is he's already locked in there. He can't escape.
Yep. Which is why I came back, helped him.
So what
Yeah,
he did,
I don't have a problem. I think you did exactly what you should have.
what he did was he painted himself into a corner. Most, and I don't mean to put him down, but most really good CV players will give themselves an out. So they'll go towards the island, but they won't go that close to the point where they can just
Nice.
move away from it if needed.
Ooh, nice hit.
Very nice hit, absolutely. Another kill.
You know, most players, they get into such bad situations in matches and they don't think positively. They don't go, okay, this is not good. What do we have to do to win? What do we have to do to change this dynamic? And instead of being proactive, they just continue to react.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And in the case of the Lightning game that I submitted, it was a lot of what to do to not lose it at that point.
I mean, sometimes you have to do that too. Sometimes you have to understand that you have to, I want to get damage, but continuing to try to get damage will most likely cost you the game. You have to disengage and get out. In this case, you had to just go directly in there and do what had to be done. Most players don't get that. They don't understand that, especially in a close match, anything that you do is probably good. You have to do something.
So the enemy didn't pull the throw maneuver. The enemy pulled the we're losing, we have to do something maneuver, which quickly turned into holy crap, we're winning maneuver to the let's throw maneuver. I mean, let's be real here.
I think I got whiplash from all the back and forth there at the end.
Yeah.
They came up against a player who understood what it would take to win the match.
Yeah, and that's
you
the weird thing
pretty
about
much
the
single-handedly
Bourgogne.
saved that game.
And you
Yeah.
put yourself into the exact correct position to do the most damage in the shortest period of time.
Yep. But that's the thing with the Bourgogne. It's just those sometimes that damage just isn't consistent for me, and like it comes down to being like throwing all shit at the fan. Basically, it's just like
Sometimes that's what you have to do.
yeah.
Well, sure.
And it's a weird shift for me for some reason. I can't put my finger around what makes it so weird and difficult for me to do consistently what I just did that game. But I don't know.
So my first thought would be to spam HE far more than you're doing in the ship. And then the second thought would be to think of yourself not as a battleship, but as an oversized cruiser. So that might be
second line it and basically try to do as much damage as possible in the short period.
exactly. You're in there to kite away. You're in there to set fires. You're in there to be shot at and win over time through attrition, as opposed to most other battleships, which is just the clap damage, right? Just the AP salvos.
Yeah.
Obviously, you switch to AP and you use those salvos of opportunity when the opportunity provides itself.
The only other thing that I would mention, and I feel like a dummy doing it because you're clearly a better battleship player than I will ever be, probably. At the beginning, when you did speed boost, I think it is valid to use speed boost to get into an advantageous position, not just to have it to kite away. But you didn't really use it like that. You used it to get into trouble, and then you started firing when you were kind of before you made your turn. You could have gotten to that position, made your turn, been ready to kite the other way, and then begun firing.
Yep.
Yeah, what I do with Alsace and Georgia is I use it at the start of the match to get to the position that I think is going to be most beneficial to nuke somebody right off a lot quicker than they expect me to be there. I'm not going for a cap. I'm not going to get on a flank necessarily. I'm looking at the map and going, okay, I'm going to have a lot of shots there. I need to get there before they expect me to be there. And then they show up, and then it's just nuke, nuke, nuke.
Yep, that in my opinion is one of the biggest strengths of Georgia, is you can be somewhere long before, and in position, in a good position, long before anybody else can.
40 knots is 40 knots, y'all. 40 knots with 18-inch guns is a very, very nasty thing to have waiting on you.
Sure. The key is to know where that position is.
Exactly.
Which, it takes time and experience.
The unfortunate thing with most Georgia players is they use it to get themselves into trouble right off the bat. And so they're either running away the rest of the match or they're already dead.
Yep.
The first time I played Georgia, I didn't really understand how quick it was, and I found myself running directly into trouble and not realizing how quickly I was moving and how far in I was putting.
Yep. And it only takes a couple of times for you to learn that lesson, doesn't it?
But for people who drive destroyers a lot, the speed boost battleships and cruisers are actually significantly easier to play. We're used to that. Most people that really don't play destroyers a lot, those are the ones who are getting themselves into trouble right off the bat.
Yep.
Yeah, but the one thing I want to say is, if you're uncomfortable on the ship and it does have a speed boost, don't use it right away to get yourself in trouble. If you're uncertain about positioning, don't use the speed boost to get yourself into trouble.
Yep.
Now, like in my Bourgogne, I very rarely ever hit speed boost right away because I'm in the middle of the freaking map. So what's the point of getting any? I'm not going to get to a flank, which is where I think those ships excel at way better. But you don't necessarily even have to use all your speed boosts. It's just another tool in your arsenal to be used.
Yep. By the way,
I'm
hello Tedster, hello Mimu.
I'm looking at this replay and I'm already salivating looking at that curve first.
I'm salivating looking at this group of battleships that are sitting at the Thunder in North Carolina. Screw the curve first. I'm looking at these guys here north of B thinking, this is my food.
Well,
I had a
you
match with Asashio.
have TRB, so you get to eat both plates.
Mmm.
Yeah, I had a match in Asashio where I was playing with a Kraken division on my team. It had Wombat and a couple other guys in it, where I knocked 137k off one curve first with Asashio.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I managed to get a high caliber that match. Got complimented by the entire division. It's always amusing when somebody tells Asashio that it carried a match.
Alec, the most interesting battle to me. Let me think about that. Because I don't want to pick something that everybody normally picks.
I gotta say, this is a pretty dangerous spot, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Smolensk pushing the way he is. You could be really stuck here.
But who are his threats? I mean, there's no carrier, so his biggest threat would be radar unless he derps into a ship's detection. And I hate to say
You
it.
can see from where he's at, he understands what's on each side of him, and he's trying to maintain that middle spot to stay safe.
If
I mean,
Ted
I noticed that.
if Ted derps into a ship's detection, that's on him. That's not the enemy team outplaying him. That's simply him making some big mistakes that could be fatal. His biggest
Yes and no. One thing I'm seeing here is what I'm looking at is that Georgia is leaving, the Petro is kiting very far away, and that Smolensk is pushing in. If
Mhm.
that Smolensk rounds that corner, he's trapped. So it's not so much about him making a mistake or a radar getting him or anything like that. It's just he's losing his only escape route at this point.
That's not what I see, actually.
But the thing is,
Easy.
he's not in range of Buffalo radar.
He's in his escape route right now.
Yep.
He's heading back towards his team. He's protected by islands.
Yep. Now's the perfect time for him to run because if this channel didn't exist, I would completely agree with you because he'd be
Yeah.
forced to go along this edge and he'd be trapped.
Right.
But the channel exists and therefore he's able to get through this and laugh away as he torps the crap out of these battleships. Oh my god. Really? Tedster wants more blood. He's willing to stop and smoke, risk it all, so that he can damage a few more battleships.
Oh, this is dirty.
Asashio is... If Asashio gets the right match, oh, it is so overpowered.
And even when you don't have the right match, it's got great conceal, so you can still do a lot of damage just
And
by
its guns are better than people understand.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright, Alec, my favorite battle would probably, from World War II, would be the Battle of the Coral Sea. Because of how close both teams, both sides were to spotting each other and completely annihilating each other. Yet they didn't realize it for whatever reason. So that would be my pick. And my favorite ship would be the USS Porter. USS Porter. Yeah, you're doing a great job of getting usage out of your smokes. And I love how you're letting yourself get shot at by Smolensk. Like, why?
It's that Kraken arrogance, that's what it is. They're not going to kill me just because I'm in Kraken and I'm just so much better than they are. RN Jesus will save me. And I'm kidding, I don't think that about you guys at all. You guys have been really, really good to me. Good for me.
Now, USS Porter in World War II, if I remember right, was the one that kept on almost team killing their buddies. I think it was the Porter.
Oh, right, I remember that. Didn't Wargaming have an article on that a couple of years ago?
Or was that the Laffy?
Like, I've got Samuel Eliot Morrison's entire series of books on naval operations in World War II, and it's mentioned in there somewhere too.
Laffy was the hero ship, almost torped Roosevelt. There you go. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
Porter launched the torpedo. doesn't it?
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? Can you
No, not
imagine?
really.
Can you imagine the radio communication? Sorry, USS Missouri or Iowa, whichever one it was. We just fired a torpedo at you, and it turns out to be live. You might want to start dodging, like now.
I can just see the communication. Just dodge. Shades of World of Warships. That would be that would, man.
The guy who fired a torpedo was sentenced to 10 years of hard labor. Yep. You went pink, all right.
How bad for everything had actually like shit and killed the president.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a catastrophe of epic proportions.
The other thing I like about World War II, one of my other favorite stories was when the Marine Corps bombers at Guadalcanal flew over Rabaul, the enemy Japanese base at Rabaul, and they dropped torpedoes on the base of Rabaul. Now, for most of you guys understand, torpedoes are ordnance that goes into water and then it goes towards the enemy. They're not meant to be dropped from the air directly on a target on land. But the Americans did it anyways. And they put, of course, the medals that the Japanese gave them as a way to say, F you. But the cool thing about that was that when the Japanese bombers, the G4M Bettys, they called it Washing Machine Betty because it was this large land bomber. When it was coming back from its drop on Guadalcanal, it ran into all of the Japanese anti-air and got itself shot out of the sky. That I thought was a
Ted
fun
is
story.
having an absolute ball in this match. I mean, you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if those torpedoes that they dropped were Mark 14s, they might have actually been more effective like that.
Dutch, yeah, go ahead, put a link out. It's fine. Yeah, you know, one thing I like about FDR was like, he didn't look at a situation of, you know, I'm worried about my power or whatever. He looked at things as, this is the best thing we can do for the war, and he's not about to let a bunch of sailors accidentally. Was the Iowa? Yeah, that's right, because the Iowa was retrofitted with the elevator to get FDR up there. I remember that because I visited the Iowa. Great museum ship, by the way. If you get a chance to check it out, check it out. I've been on 3 of the Iowa-class battleships. The only one I haven't been on is the New Jersey. Best thing for the war was to give the ship to the Japanese. Why? So they could take it apart, learn its secrets? Sansi Sentinel, no. Iowa is in Los Angeles, technically Anaheim, and the ship in Hawaii is the Missouri. The only ship I haven't been on is the Iowa class I haven't been on is the New Jersey. I've been on the Wisconsin, which I think of the 3 Iowa classes I've been on, Wisconsin was probably my favorite. Mainly because not a lot of people go on the Wisconsin. Iowa, same thing. But everybody and their mother goes on the Missouri.
No, Wisconsin is not in a typical place for a ship to be.
That's right.
Like seen, isn't it? It's like somewhere around the Great Lakes.
No, Wisconsin's in Norfolk, Virginia.
It's in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
I thought there was one. I thought there was like a museum ship of some importance somewhere around Michigan.
I can't think of that.
I can't now either, but for some reason I'm just my brain keeps telling me that there at least used to be one there. I don't remember.
So
I've been to so many museum ships.
I think you're right, but I'm thinking it might be a sub.
U505 is a Museum of Science and Industry, the German sub U505.
Yeah, that may very well be what I'm thinking of.
But,
Iowa was the one that had the turret explosion in the late 80s, early 90s,
yes,
right?
yes, the number 2 turret, it blew up. Yep.
I remember that on the news. It was like a massive story.
Oh yeah. But yeah, if you ever getting a chance to go to the Wisconsin in Norfolk, some pro tips for you guys. there is a parking garage where you park the car, which is right across the street from the Iowa. Sorry, from Wisconsin. You can go up the parking garage and get some beautiful shots of the ship from bow looking at it, about 40, 50 feet up in the air, which is really nice. But for the best views of the Wisconsin, you want to go to the building, the office building that's attached to that parking garage, and you want to go all the way up to the top floor, the penthouse floor. There's a law firm up there. If you go up there and you ask the lady at the reception desk very nicely, they'll let you take pictures of the Wisconsin from up there. And you're about 80 feet up, looking down on the ship. It's a fantastic view.
I actually, I went to Norfolk one time because I had to do swimming qualifications because I was on an LCAC, so we had to have a higher swim rating than people on a regular ship.
Mm-hmm.
And the building that the pool and the class was in was directly across the street from multiple destroyers, multiple cruisers, the George Washington and the Teddy Roosevelt. So, since we had the day off more or less because we were doing the swimming qualifications, that was only an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We spent the rest of the day just going to the Washington and the Roosevelt and the cruisers and destroyers and getting on them and walking around. I mean, that's got to be one of the highlights of not just my naval career, but my life, being on those ships like that. That was amazing.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
And especially since they're active duty ships, they're not set up as museums, so you get to see the reality.
Right.
Those things are big.
Now the U-505 in Chicago, the Museum of Science and Industry, is a really nice ship to check out. They've changed it now to where you can't go around it outside, but I got very fortunate when I was in college. I went to the Museum of Science and Industry, and they actually allowed me to go outside and walk around the sub, and I could actually touch it. I took pictures. I mean, that was one of the coolest experiences. Going inside was great. If you go to Pearl Harbor, the Bowfin is a really nice submarine that you can check out too. You get that in the combo ticket with the Missouri and the airfield.
Isn't
hangar.
the USS Drum with Alabama?
Might be.
I know there's a sub, I just don't always remember exactly which one it is.
And
It's been
Dutch.
so long since I've been there.
Drum
Yep.
is in Alabama.
I went twice when I was, I think first time I was 8, and then we went a second time, I think I was 14, but I haven't been able to get back since. I love the Alabama.
Ted, I'm sorry, we've kind of ignored your replay towards the end, but there's not much to talk about. I mean, you just
Exactly.
did cleanup stuff, so I apologize, but I mean, you did what you would expect to do.
Yeah, when you put a smackdown on them that quick, that early, yeah, it kind of ruins the whole thing.
Yep, and Dutch, you're right. You can go inside the U-505, and you're exactly correct. The best view of Chicago is definitely from the Hancock, not from the Sears Tower. Most people think they want to go up the Sears. Nope.
Alright, I'm gonna pop out and go find some dinner. Thanks for having me around, Zach.
Fine, be that way. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you.
I'm starving, so I'm sorry, my stomach takes precedence over you right now.
That's fine. I gotta make dinner in an hour anyway, or less than that, so I get you.
Alright, everybody have a good one.
See ya.
You too.
Alright, so this is Ranked Enterprise. This is B-Cup's game, I think, right? Trench Class 7, Baltimore, huh? I would imagine at this point there's an audio tour of the U-505. My favorite museum ship by far, though, Belfast in London. Belfast is by far my favorite. Iowa's nice too. Did you guys know that there's some people that actually play World of Warships from the Iowa?
Did not know that.
Yep, I met up with them. Great guys, nice people. The coolest part was we did a tour of the Iowa with Wargaming, and then they loaded up the game. They showed us where they streamed, and then they kind of showed us like where the tour went and like on the parts of the ship and stuff, and that was really nice. Yeah, they're like Yankee Echo Papa, I think is the name, or something like that. They go by signal flags. Dutch, when out in Missouri, when you see one of the super carriers coming to port, you get to actually realize how big the Missouri is. So Dutch, I had a similar experience, although I didn't have a super carrier coming into port. I had an Aegis missile cruiser going out of port, so we got to watch it kick up a whole bunch of mud and dirt and silt, and like, that was an experience. Check out the Maritime Museum with the Midway, good to know. Oh, a B-39 would be really cool. Huh.
Concentrate fire on the target.
I have all the connections. I wish I did, Alec. I'm working on it. I don't have all of them. I have some though. I'm very fortunate to have some. Now, B-Cup is basically doing what you expect an Enterprise to do, which is to make a destroyer's life miserable. He forced the Akizuki to stop and smoke. Ironically enough, the Baltimore could be popping radar now to spot the Akizuki, but he's not because he doesn't have shots on him. The Massachusetts probably does, though. 90% win rate? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Go where no man has gone before? Yeah, wrong Enterprise. Here's a pre-drop. Again, for those of you guys that don't know what that means, it sends a portion of the strike back to the carrier so it's ready for the next deployment. And of course, his AP bombs can bomb the Cleveland, but he's not going to get into BCAP in time, so I think he's looking at the Lennon or the Massachusetts, or both, to drop bombs on. Lennon pops a plane, so if you're going to drop on the Lennon, you're going to have to probably recall your planes immediately afterwards. Enterprise, of course, has AP bombers. Not too bad. Yes, pre-drops also kill fish. Very true, very true. Puddin', are you still here?
Yes.
Cool. How are you doing?
Would you like me to pull a winner?
No, you can wait a little bit if you want. It's up to you. Are you in a game?
No, I'm watching a video on Japan's only super carrier.
Okay. Well, whenever you're ready, we can do our drop for our German CV crate. We have about 20 minutes left in the stream, so no rush. You can wait 10 minutes if you want or something. Oh yeah, the 16-inch guns are amazing size in real life. Yep. Silly Akizuki.
Rude, honestly.
Rude? Nah.
You know, of course, I did a rant about the hate that the carrier players are getting. And you know me, when I go on a rant, I go way off the rails.
No.
So, of course, I missed 90% of what I wanted to talk about, bitching about carriers. And just bitch about carriers.
Eisenhower's, what's up, dude? So, despite you beating up on the Akizuki B-Cup, nobody else seemed to care about it. And your Baltimore is dead, even though he's sitting somewhat behind cover. Question mark. Edge case, that's a good point, yes. He also risked less planes. Oh, this Akizuki. You paid him off to have engine damage and a sit. Very nice. Last chance, guys. We only have 50 entrants. 5-0. If you would like a German 3 German CV crates. This is a chance to get yourself the preview missions for the Tier 4, Tier 6, Tier 8 German carriers. Make sure you hit exclamation point ticket. You have to be a follower in order to win, and present, and that's it. We try to make things very easy for you because, I don't know, I would rather you be chilling, watching the show than caring about did I enter, did I not.
420 physics is now following.
420 physics, thank you very much for the follow, and LOL, there goes your Odin. Nice double citadel.
Try and tree again is now following.
Try and try again, thank you for the follow. This is exciting. Oh, Zealot, thank you.
Zealot _ gaming 263 is now following.
I am now exactly 150 new followers away from being able to give out 500 US dollars worth of stuff courtesy of Wargaming. That's exciting. Trust anyone. Thank you for the raid.
Raided my stream with 6
Zealot's
viewers.
a cool dude. He's a streamer.
I'm sorry, what?
Zealot's a cool dude. He's a streamer too.
Oh, is Zealot. Okay, nice.
Titus Litro is now following.
Titus Latro, thank you for the follow. So, hey guys, those of you that just jumped in, exclamation point ticket. We are giving away 3 CV containers. You have to be a follower to win. That's it. Just hit exclamation point ticket. We're doing okay in ranked. Trust anyone. We played 3 games today of ranked, lost 2 of them, won 1, but we gained a star because we stayed a star in both the losses. LOL. It is what it is. Why is he only using one type of plane? Use the dive bombers and torpedo planes. Elizabeth, thank you for the follow.
Sedog is now following.
I think he's trying to do too much at once at this point. He's trying to make a lot of things happen because, I mean, look at the score. He's trying to use an opportunity attack on the Massachusetts. Here comes some AP bombs on the Cleveland. Lol. $500. What's that in real money? Haha. Turn that joke around to us Yanks, yeah. Oh, do people only go for rank 5, Redmo? No, there's people that go far past that. Personally, I go for rank 6, and then I stop. But, to each their own. Cheers to everyone. That's a spicy flak ball. This is rank 5 bracket? Wow, nice. Oh, beautiful work by your destroyer. That Z-23. I hope that you complimented that Z-23 because he just did a great job of smoking you up so that the Cleveland can't see you. And goodbye, Cleveland. We know what's happening. Bye, Cleveland.
Enemy cruiser sunk. Our victory is in sight.
That's correct, Duckman. I was wondering if anybody would get that reference. Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball. Oh look, a hipper you can kill. Interesting approach angle. I might have gone more flat. But the hipper is turning out for you, so you can just guarantee kill him. Okay. You paid him, didn't you, B-Cup? You paid him for that. Yeah, you paid him. What was that? I don't remember. American Standard toilet bowls? Really? That was for Alka-Seltzer from 1969. Because Google told me so. Oh, War. I remember War. I've seen him before. He's in a new clan. Guns. Reminds me of the Mass Effect gamer poops. If you've ever played Mass Effect, you want to look on YouTube for Gamer Poop Mass Effect. Okay? Gamer Poop Mass Effect. Holy crap, they are hilarious. If you played the Mass Effect games, if you haven't, you won't understand some of the jokes. But when I see that guy, I think I'm here for war. Because that's what he says. Just kidding. I'm here for your sister. It's a great show. Great series of YouTube videos. This Vladivostok coming out broadside to the Odin surely won't be a problem.
I don't see an issue.
Easy peasy. Alka-Seltzer used to be a treatment that was used to cure sinus pressure and I think cold-like symptoms or something like that. But the idea was that it would dissipate into water. You would plop the tablet in the water and it would, you know, fizz away like crazy. That's why they called it plop plop fizz fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
Well, that's convenient for him to run into the island like that.
Very convenient. Once again, another paid actor.
How do people not know what Alka-Seltzer is?
Ah.
Apparently we're just very old at this point.
Enemy battleship sunk.
Kind of like Vicks Vapor Rub. Yeah, Vicks Vapor Rub was something that came out in the 90s. You know, open up the chest, take off the shirt, then rub slather a whole bunch of stuff on the chest there. And you smell it in.
I thought Alka-Seltzer was for tummy problems.
Alka-Seltzer wasn't stomach problems. That's Tums. Or
No, that's
Pepto-Bismol. Alka-Seltzer. Cold and flu. Yeah.
All I know is it tasted like shit.
Of course it did. That's the point. It tastes bad, so you know it's gonna do good things. Right, exactly. LOL. See, this is why you play Enterprise and Ranked. Thank you, B-Cup, for showing us why you play Enterprise and Ranked, and why everybody else needs to hold their hand over the escape key whenever they go into a ranked queue to get the F out of ranked when they see two carriers. Oh, and then you give B-Cup the CV containers? Seriously? Stream with a Puddin', what's wrong with you, man?
He doesn't need any more TV.
Yeah, Vix is still around. Malox is gone, yes. Oh, the original was for upset stomach and heartburn. Okay. This is Darius. This is somebody who just sent in the game. He said...
I know Darius, kind of.
He said,
Wookie.
did I make all the right decisions or was this just dumb luck? Do me a favor, if you can ping Wookie, let him know Darius is on, and then maybe they can... Oh, nope, I got it. I want to make sure he knows we're covering this game.
Sorry, gotta drop out for a sec.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm here, yep. Sorry.
Oh, you're telling the wrong person.
Yeah. Swapping over Discords.
It's all good, dude. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Yeah, so my first thought was, okay, there's a CV here, and there's probably going to be a couple of hydro things sort of looking for C, so I thought I'd try and sneak A and then sort of head over towards C, because then at least I have some maneuverability room, unlike the confined area of C if the CV tried to hunt me.
Yes, Duckman, I'm arguing with you that we're there. I've had Alka-Seltzer before. Makes sense. Now, this is one of those other bugged replays where I'm not able to, do anything but sit back and watch. So we're gonna have to watch together.
Do you know what causes that?
No. Was this from the previous hot patch before 9.6.1?
Did
This
rank even
replay?
start?
No, it's like yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that.
Okay, I have no idea. Anyway, Torpedo Reload Booster Kagero in a carrier ranked game is hilarious.
Suspect. I tried it out in sprint, but it was rough.
I wonder why.
The funny thing is, I was running at it. I think it was like the last day or 2 days until I had to rank out, so I switched back to smoke just to make sure I finished. Last 4 matches, I think I got no CVs.
That's how it works, dude. You put the thing on that deals with carriers and it wards them off.
Yep, that's what it's been like with my Baltimore and DFAA.
Yep. Maximus with the film projectionist.
I like that you're staying so close to your support.
That's
Like,
very
you
important.
do not want to be caught out alone in a TRB Kagero right now.
I also didn't want to get in an early engagement with the Cossack on the other side, since he has smoke and hydro, and would have just sat there and lit me up for the rest of the team.
Yep.
Outguns the crap out of you.
Yep.
That was a
Demoser,
mid-game thing.
no idea. I would imagine there might be some missions, but who knows?
You have a better detect than the Kagero, but the difference isn't significant enough. With the render delay, you're detecting each other at the same time anyway.
Yep. Now, how about your champ of Richelieu that is going off on his own on an adventure to the 9 line?
Yeah, but watch what the Richelieu does for the rest of this match. I think he was the champion of this, not me.
Well, because what he's doing is he's opening up crossfires, which we often talk about, but a lot of times Battleship players don't seem to understand. Because, oh, I thought he was going to bow in to see. Actually, no, that makes sense because the Odin's running away, or charging him.
At the moment, I'm wondering if they're going to do a push up from A to B, and wondering if I should just flood the gap with Thorpes, and then I'm looking over the other side and going, I should probably head over to C.
Now is a good opportunity. So the worst thing that you can do in a carrier battle is split off on your own, which is what the Richelieu has done. But their Odin and Bismarck has done that too. Cossack was spotted out there on the west side, so your Bismarck is pretty much dead. He just doesn't know it yet. Hello, how you doing? Demo, sir, you want to get that tier 8 carrier? I would say don't rush. Take your time. If you got the 6, work through the 6.
About this time, I lost map awareness and just thought, oh yeah, my team's got A. They're just going to hold that. It's not important now. We just need to take B and then win on points.
No, because what they're going to do is they're going to push for no good reason. And your Bismarck is doing just that.
Bismarck, of course he is. Best thing you can do when you get into a ranked game with the Bismarck is just write him off as dead at the beginning.
Well,
Now, why didn't you send that second torpedo rack out?
I thought the Bismarck was going to go behind the island, and it would just be shooting an island.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Right, that's what I was asking.
Well, you have TRB too, so even if it had, if you found that you needed it after, you have the ability to just pop TRB and
Yep.
you have another 2 racks.
Yep. Hi, Boda. What tier 8 premium do I consider strongest in the current meta? Enterprise? Duh. Zeppelin's okay too. It depends on what your goal is. If you're playing randoms, Kaga's perfectly fine too. You just spam torpedo bombers into people. Bismarck is raging in chat. Yep. It's what they do best, man. Now, those torpedoes into the Odin obviously didn't do anything because you're on Hydro. So
yeah, that knocked him down a bit.
That's doing fun.
well, I mean the second set after you were set on hydro or whatever detected. I find when my torpedoes are detected on hydro, the closer I can get to the enemy before firing them off, the better. In this situation, obviously, you don't necessarily want to risk the HP in order to do that. Yeah, Whirlwind, like Duckman says, you can always do a reset or two if you want. And LOL this Bismarck. Now you just have to sit here and wait for... Oh, never mind. He decided to pop his hydro button. So now's when you're going to have to YOLO him if you want to kill him. Because otherwise he's just going to sit there and wait.
Well, this is when you can take really good advantage of TRB because most people don't expect it. So you can send your racks right now, knowing you're not going to hit them, and then after he commits, if he does, you get him with the second.
Yep. The battleship is a very timid creature. He's not even paying attention to you. Why?
Also very sensitive.
Why would he not pay attention to you? This is...
Dear God. You've been on Hydra for God knows how long, too.
Paid actor.
There's no way you should be allowed to get away with this right here.
No. Lexington sees you. He knows you're there. He's trying, but you just dodge. TM. By the way, you notice there, all you have to do when carriers are attacking you, start moving your rudder a little bit, and it makes it really hard for them to strike you. You'll still maybe take a few hits, but a lot less than if you were going straight. And especially with the new reticule changes, which are with the next patch. Oof. David, you're in lagging, no problem. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you as always.
Is it the next patch that's supposed to put in the detect change from the air too?
Maybe that 20-second penalty.
Yeah, like if you use your AA, your detect goes to AA gun range, but otherwise it's like half of what it is right now.
Yep. Yeah, Desta, the reticule changes. So most carriers that the reticle is vertical. The Enterprise is different. It's horizontal, but most carriers it's vertical. Wargaming is changing the reticule so that it is horizontal on all carriers now. Make it more difficult to attack destroyers, especially head or stern on. But yeah, that's right, Dutch. They're also having the detection range by air too. It's not on PTS? Oh, okay. It's really hard to keep track of all of the changes that are in the dev blog because some of them are for PTS, some of them are super test, some of them happen, some of them don't. So I just look at it as I'll wait till it shows up on the live server, and if it does, cool. If it doesn't, oh well.
Your carrier's getting himself into trouble right here.
He's painting himself into a corner quite nicely, isn't he? Bismarck parked and went to pee. There you go. Now, were those torpedoes fired because you saw the smoke? Decent hit by the Shokaku. Mini-map, Kirk? What about the mini-map? Because Cossac's detected now. And I might hit F3 on the Cossack. Try to get the people to shoot him.
Your guns are workable too. I mean, you don't want to be on a 1-on-1 with a Cossack, but you can stack DPM on those.
Yep. Kudos for not CV hunting. I mean, that's true. He could do that too, right? He got C. He could push up and find the Lexington.
Well, I think breaking off to A would have been a valid move. It would have been risky with no smoke and a CV in the match, but it's getting to the point where you need to stop those points somehow.
Mm-hmm. Big question is, what's the Cossack doing? Is he sitting in smoke? If he's sitting in smoke, you got him. You got him. Cleveland's gonna work with you, possibly Richelieu as well.
Yep, good use of guns.
I like how the Cossack starts shooting at the carrier too. Not even bothering to look at you, man. He's just like, yeah, I'm dead. I'm gonna try to kill the carrier.
I wonder if he even noticed that it was the Kagero shooting at him. Or is it just random shots to him coming in?
I don't know. Regardless, that puts you at a 2-to-1 advantage over their team. So that comes in very handy.
And gave you the point cushion you needed too.
Yep.
That Cossack should have just run.
Deadliest, well, the new Hydro flag lets you run constant Hydro until you run out of charges, or does it increase the cooldown as well? So Deadliest, the thing about extending your Hydro is that it works just like the Hydro Premium mod, or upgrade, whatever you call it. So your Hydro lasts for longer, but that also means it takes longer before you can use your next Hydro. So it's a double-edged sword. You have longer duration Hydro, but now you have to push back when you can use it again. Some people don't like using the Hydro mod simply because of that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's just past 6 o'clock, so I will be stopping my stream at the end of our replay here. This was some good replays, though. I don't like the Richelieu, by the way, is just charging by himself, but oh well. I can kind of understand why, because point values, but I think you might still win on 2 caps at this point. You definitely win on 2 caps now.
I think it's a little too close for comfort before that kill.
And that's one of the problems is when you sit there and you try to do the math and figure out if you're that close to doing the math, you're probably better off going for the kill.
That's why I love that score timer mod.
Yep.
I think that should be built into the game, honestly.
And who knows, 2 or 3 years from now, it very well might be. It's not a knock on wargaming, it's just it takes a while to put those kinds of mods in. And we've seen other mods that have become part of the game, like the smoke timer, for example. Yep. Or what used to be X marks a spot. X on the minimap is a circle now, but same thing. If the game is still around?
Time since they added a mod to the game. And
That's
I think
true.
It was the X marks a spot was the last one.
Rock, I got home and I'm about to sign off. Sorry. And Kirk, I think the game will still be around.
Look how old Tanks is, and it's still going.
I mean, if it's not, I'm screwed because I don't know what else to play and spend my time with and stream. But, you know, I think it'll be around.
Career Chronicles 12?
What?
I don't know, whatever that weeb game is you're playing.
Now, Valkyria Chronicles 4. 12.
Yeah, well, they should be up by 12 by then, right?
Sure.
At this point, you don't want to risk dying, so that you should have been. Really, the Cleveland should have been on you, but you should have been closer to the Cleveland just to make sure you didn't get flat by rockets.
Yeah. Yep. You also could have turned your anti-air on earlier when you were flown over by the rockets at first. I would definitely turn them on now and reinforce the sector. Even if you you don't do much, if you kill 1 or 2 of these planes, that's more XP for you. Hello Kitty Island Adventure Deadliest. No thanks. Body paint stream? Bumblebee, you don't want to see me doing body paint. My Little Pony. Oh my God, you guys
just have a dirty water screen.
Okay, that I can do. And my goal, by the way, I was talking about trying to finish off my makers. My goal is to be able to open the Wild Turkey 101 for next week for the 3 days that I'm streaming, so that I can have some fun with all of you guys. We shall see. All right, here's the deal. We're gonna move into our stream ending section. I need you guys to tell me who to raid.
That was pretty well played. It was safely played, but it was the right move to play it safe when you're in a TRB here with the Lex. There's a couple of things you could have gotten away with doing a little bit riskier earlier, like going for the A-cap sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But he did extend past his Cleveland to go get it. It was unnecessarily risky, if that makes sense.
Completely agree. So there are Ashley, Dante. I try to raid people that don't have more than 100 people watching them right now. Ashley's at like 500. Trust me, she doesn't need people. But I see Overlord Boo at 57. Kirk with the cheer. Thank you, Kirk. So I don't mind raiding him. Digital Justice is at 9. Don't mind raiding him either. Grumpy Bun Bun is at like 27, so I could definitely raid her. Bilbro Shaggins. Is Bilbro on? Yes, he is.
Yes, he's 9 on mine.
Yep, and he just cheered earlier, so I have no problem raiding Bilbro. Sure. Any other nominations? Overlord Boo. I got Overlord Boo as well. Alright, here we go. We're going to set this to a 1-minute poll. If you look on your chat screen there, you each have a vote. If you want to throw some bits or channel points, you can get yourself additional polls. We do Chicago-style voting here. Chicago-style voting means you can be dead and vote, or you can pay money and vote, okay? I'm sorry, I just...
It's called vote early, vote often.
Damn right. It's, you know, I come from Chicago, that's just how it is. Look at the votes coming in. This is nice.
I like this little vote mechanic.
It's kind of fun, right? Kind of fun. Running low on time. Edward Riven, hello! I had a great stream. Sorry you're jumping in now towards the end, but thanks for hanging out. And guys, when we get to our stream ending, I should say this is where we thank all of you guys, Raining Recon, Bilbo Shaggins with the bump, with the bits, Gandalf and Blitz joining us as subscribers today, and a whole host of new followers. Thank you very much. We are 146 followers away from dumping a whole bunch of money into our stream, which is fantastic. And it looks to me like the winner was Grumpy Bun Bun. So we shall go ahead and raid her. She's a relatively new streamer. So I'm sorry, what?
With a mass.
She has a Massachusetts?
Yep. She got it gifted to her the first day she was streaming. It was kind of amazing.
So please give her all the help you can, because she definitely needs help. Duckman wasting opportunities to make me flex? What? Oh, was he voting extra? Yeah, he did. All right, cool. That's
he only
awesome.
did it once, so he's got to learn how to do this vote early, vote often thing.
That's right. That's right. What kind of help, Revan? Any help, I'm sure she would appreciate. Yeah, send her a follow if you enjoy what she's doing. If you don't, then fine, don't. I love Twitch streaming. The idea that I follow a stream and then I just hang out and then like I end up someplace totally different. So that's fun. Why not take advantage of that? Why not enjoy it? And if you don't like what she's doing, fine. Go watch your other streamers and hang out with them anyway. Perfectly fine. But guys, I will see you on Friday for more warships, and then we're going to switch over to our Valkyria Chronicles playthrough. Sunday is our big warships and replays mega stream, and then Monday, Wednesday again, just like today, more randoms are ranked plus warships replays. We'll have a lot of fun. Still want to know who that old lady was? You tell us. I have no idea, Deadliest. I just know it was an old lady sewing something. I have no idea. So, anyway, thanks again, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.